So, ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning also from my side.
We would like to welcome you to our annual German-Hungarian Business Day event.
And you may know us. This is Arne, the president of the German-Hungarian Business Club and one of the managing directors of Dialog Ungarn.
Yes, and this is Marie-Therese Stiel, my partner and co-managing director of Dialog Ungarn, and she is responsible in the German club for our female business affairs. We have not practiced this before, so we do a stand-up comedy, basically.
Exactly. We didn't prepare anything, but we think we are here among friends, and therefore it's not so important that everything is on the top. Welcome really in this community.
Yes, as we have learned yesterday, we have already a business delegation here from Germany, and in one of our visits at Continest and also in the visit at Tigra, we have learned, and that's the same what we are practicing, friendship and the way we speak, talk and behave with each other is much more important than professionalism.
Exactly, and yesterday we had a great day with a dinner tonight. Most of our panelists joined that. It was really a pleasure to us, and now today we have a little bit to work.
Yes, but we still try our best, and most of you know us already for years, so we keep everybody basically as our friends.
Exactly, and now we have to announce our co-organizer, the representative of our co-organizer this year, because it's the first time that we are doing it with the Hungarian Investment Promotion Agency together. And as mostly Zsuzsa and myself did the preparation in cooperation with you, at this stage I would like to give a big thank you to Martina, Fadi, János, and who else is here for this really good cooperation in preparing this conference. All you know, it's not like this. We started in November and it's really great. Thank you for this cooperation, and we hope that we have a successful day today. So.
Yes, thank you. And one last word, a warm welcome, please, from those who are living here to our guests from Germany. You will meet them throughout the day. Please make them welcome and convince them to invest in Hungary.
And we have to say welcome to our digital guests, because this conference is streamed online. So therefore, please, in all schedule, we have to be in time. So warm welcome. Please join us until 1 o'clock, and you will not miss anything.
Thank you.
And now, please, István, as our co-organizer, please give the welcome speech.
Good morning to all of you, Madam Minister Varga, Dr. Till, Mr. Gobert, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor to welcome you to the 4th German-Hungarian Business Day, co-organized with our institution, the Hungarian Investment Promotion Agency. Let me express our appreciation to Dialog Ungarn for their continued efforts to deepen the German-Hungarian business dialogue. Vielen Dank, Marie und Arne. The theme of our gathering today, Bridging Markets, how German-Hungarian business relations create value, could not be more timely. Only a few days have passed since Germany's 10th post-war chancellor and his cabinet have taken office. We sincerely hope that the policies of the new German federal government will help to get growth back on track in Europe's largest economy. We trust that the new administration in Berlin will pursue an industry and business-friendly agenda. This is essential because we all need a strong Germany to increase the competitiveness of Europe and to further deepen our bilateral economic relations. What we need is a strong and forward-looking German economic policy that rejects any mindset suggesting that the best car is the one that is never built. The German investor community has been keen on our country for many decades, and Germany is also our #1 trading partner. Bilateral trade reached a record high in 23, exceeding 70 billion euros. In 24, however, the volume declined to 67 billion euros. We have also seen cases where production sites were closed in Germany just to relocate them to Central Europe. In this regard, we would like to make it clear that we do not wish for German companies to expand in Hungary instead of Germany, but alongside their operations. We see Hungary as a strategic economic partner to Germany, not a replacement, but part of a shared growth strategy. For HIPA, 24 was another outstanding year. Investment capital inflow into the Hungarian economy exceeded the 10 billion euros mark for the second year in a row. With German companies alone, we closed 10 major investment projects, making Germany the most active foreign investor of the year in terms of a number of new projects. Between 2014 and 2024, we supported more than 300 German-linked investment decisions worth a combined volume of approximately 18 billion euros. The role of German businesses in Hungary in the Hungarian economy is the best showcased by the fact that such companies make up the largest investor community in the country, accounting for 18% of the total FDI stock. Our economic cooperation spans virtually all sectors and has been strengthening year by year. For example, in the technology field, Evosoft expanded its research and development operation at its Budapest and Miskolc locations last year, creating dozens of new R&D jobs. In the medical industry, SCHOTT Hungary, a major player in the sector, inaugurated its new production hall in Lukácsháza. In the sector of business service centers, which is one of the fastest growing fields in high added value creation, the presence of our German partners has been continuously strengthening as well. One of the most recent examples is that the Costa Group has chosen Budapest as the location for the central hub for global business services. All these examples clearly show that German companies thrive and prosper here in Hungary. They find a business-friendly environment, a talented workforce, and agile and supportive governmental institutions that help them grow. They invest, reinvest, and expand, and we at HIPA are their partner at every step of the way. We have built a solid foundation, and we are ready to take our economy to the next level through new frameworks and new alliances. That is exactly our aim with the latest amendments to the non-refundable VIP cash subsidy system, a key pillar of our investment promotion toolset. We have placed innovation in the front and in the center of the system, and we are determined to do everything we can to support companies that are willing to move towards the highest value-added activities and build partnerships with local universities. Production is beyond any doubt crucial, and it remains the backbone of our economy. However, innovation must also be encouraged so that companies not only manufacture their products in Hungary, but also move up the value chain, build up their service activities, or conduct research and development. The new rules also encouraging larger foreign companies to register patents in Hungary. We also welcome new investments in all areas that are complementary to the existing strengths of the Hungarian economy. These include emerging sectors such as the health and biotech industries, as well as transformative technologies like artificial intelligence. Moreover, we continue to offer a wide range of incentives to deepen cooperation with Hungary's robust network of domestic suppliers, which has been one of the country's long-standing advantages in the eyes of investors. We also encourage our German partners to make full use of HIPAA's extensive supplier database, which brings together around 800 Hungarian suppliers across a wide range of sectors. Last but not least, we have recalibrated the geographical focus of our regional investment incentive schemes. We turn our attention to the southern regions, as this is where untapped potential still lies. From Békés to Baranya, there is still work to be done, and these regions still need new factories and larger manufacturing hubs. Ladies and gentlemen, German companies can continue to count on us throughout the legislative processes in Brussels, just as we have consistently stood up for the interest of the automotive industry in the past. We are open to cooperation across all sectors and firmly support every initiative that enhances competitiveness, while doing our utmost to prevent measures that would hinder it, both within and beyond our borders. Dear friends, let us continue to build a future where German precision and Hungarian agility work hand in hand, not just for the benefit of our two economies, but for the resilience and innovation of Europe as a whole. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, István, for that great speech. And I think we can see there is still a very strong and reliable relationship between Germany and Hungary. Germany is an important partner to Hungary, and we are standing at your side, and we see new investments coming. I think those are all good news for Hungary and for Germany as well. And this is a success story, and I think we will hear many of those success stories during the day in our two panels to come. Now I would like to welcome on the stage Dr. István Szászi, the representative of Bosch Group in Hungary and the Adriatic region, to give us his keynote speech. Welcome.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you very much for this kind invitation. Me, as a representative of Bosch, we talked about a lot, for sure. So what is the strategy in Hungary in terms of FDI? But I think I would like to go further and give a short insight how we can imagine kind of collaboration in the ecosystem. And I would like to also show tangible example what we are doing as Bosch, not only in Hungary, but also in the region. And encourage you as well, doesn't matter you are representing an SME or you are representing big companies, that how we can bring and merge the two worlds together just in order to have a good and very fruitful collaboration. The title of my presentation, what I gave, is the recipe of successful collaboration. And it's nothing else, just talk about the ecosystem. And you know, talking about the ecosystem, it's something which is not new. It's not invented by Bosch, but I think just looking at the tangible measures and results, what we are doing, I think that's basically the secret, kind of secret in a bracket. Usually the people who are representing big companies, they bringing up a lot of numbers, facts and figures, and most of the people, if they leave this conference, cannot remember, what is basically the achievement of the company. And for this reason, I thought that I do not show any big numbers because either you are knowing Bosch or you're not familiar with Bosch, doesn't matter. So what I would like to show you basically what we are doing here in Hungary, it's nothing else just 3% of the 3% contribution to the Hungarian GDP. This is what we are doing country-wise in production plants, in engineering center, and this is, I think, a very significant contribution in Hungary. We are proud of, and for sure, with that, we can also shape the Hungarian ecosystem. Doesn't matter which parties they are playing an important role, but basically, this is what we are doing, and we are sitting in the driver's seat, and we are trying to shape this collaboration. And for sure, you can see on the slide that we are the biggest industrial and well-known company in Hungary, and not only in Hungary, but also in Europe and also worldwide, who is the most innovative and the biggest automotive supplier in automotive value chain. What I would like to show next, basically, so what are the USPs for Bosch Hungary? So these are the puzzle pieces usually we are showing to the upper management. They are visiting us in Hungary, in Budapest. And I would like to show you and just highlight and pick up some very important highlights here and very important facts and figures. I would like to emphasize two of them, at least two of them, which is basically in Hungary we have 3,400 R&D engineers who are acting and working in the field of automotive engineering. So with that, we are the biggest engineering center, not only in Europe, but also worldwide. If you look at the Bosch structure, then after Germany, which is always the headquarters for sure, after Germany, we are the biggest engineering center here in Europe. And in the worldwide ranking, I can tell you also that the only country who is bigger than, when it comes to the R&D associates, who is bigger than Hungary, is India. So we have more R&D associates than the US organization within the Bosch world. We have more R&D associates than the Chinese organization itself. For sure, the total number of headcounts, it's something different, so they do have more associates. But when it comes to the value-added jobs, when it comes to the value-added activities and projects, then we can proudly say that basically we have a very significant role and position, not only in Hungary, but also in Europe and also worldwide within the Bosch structure. The second favorite topic of mine is nothing else just, especially when it comes to the R&D center, then you have to somehow catch and make it tangible what is the innovation power. And there is one KPI, which is nothing else just count the number of patents one engineering center can file and can submit. And I can proudly say that in Hungary, in Budapest, within the engineering center, 90% of the people are Hungarians, 10% coming from different nations. So we are filing 4 patents per week, every single week. So with that, basically today is Friday, so we close the week, and I can probably say that my colleagues who are acting and working in R&D field, they filed already 4 patents. You can ask me that whether I'm satisfied with that, not at all, for sure. So I would like to increase this number of statistics. I can tell you that what is the innovation power of Bosch globally. This is nothing else, just each and every 20 minutes we are filing 1 patent. So that's the innovation power of Bosch, and that's a legacy we have within the Bosch structure. So basically we have to increase and show also within the Bosch structure that Hungary is a very innovative structure and organization, and for sure with that we can also contribute a lot to the Hungarian GDP and also to the Hungarian innovation culture. The rest of the puzzle pieces, proximity of the production plants is important, but this is something which is important within the Bosch structure and not necessarily for this publicum. Let me reflect a bit what was the growth in the last maybe 20 years. So there are different phases we can show here. So in the first phase, 20 years back, I started also working for Bosch 20 years back, or 21. So basically, we started, it's called extended workbench business model, that we got some work packages which we completed, and these were simulation tasks, these were software, hardware tasks and project works. And we could show basically that we are successful. So we have a good competencies, we can understand how the automotive business is working, and we could show basically that how successful we can contribute to the Bosch global structure. In the second and the third phase, we increase the volume of those projects, and for sure, the intention, for sure, the kind of need and wish from us was always to take over more and more responsibility, which could be customer responsibilities, which could be any project responsibility, regional responsibility, because that shows basically the maturity level of such an organization. And this is what we could basically show also within the Bosch structure, that yes, so we deserved, so we are good, we have the good competencies, and for sure we can grow further on, and we can take over more and more responsibility. Today we are at the discussion taking over P&L responsibility, which is a profit and loss responsibility, which is something unique. I mean, looking at, I'm pretty much familiar with the automotive industry in Hungary, looking at this kind of maturity level, also in case of competitors who are acting in Hungary, and also case of OEMs. I think staying at the stage today and telling you that, yes, as a Bosch representative, we are discussing quite a lot with the headquarters to taking over P&L responsibility, to transfer something from Germany to Hungary, this is something unique, I think. This is something unique, which is not only talking about the FDI volume, but this is something unique talking about the position of such a company, the position of the Hungarian people, the position of the Hungarian leaders who are leading this organization. That was basically the past. You might heard a lot of visions, so I don't want to bore you. What is my vision? But that was my vision in 2018. I came back from Germany, spent 8 years in Germany. And I said, together we become an innovative technological partner in our ecosystem. And all words are important, but I would like to highlight one of them, which is the ecosystem itself. And this is my favorite one, who knows me, that usually I'm talking about the ecosystem, and not only talking about the ecosystem, but basically I want to show you that what I interpret under the ecosystem and how we shape the ecosystem. And basically, that's going to be the focus in my presentation today. What are the success factors to have a successful ecosystem? Don't get me wrong, so I won't present everything here because I do not have too much time. I won't address the leadership, but it's obvious, this is important. Just have major leaders who are able to have the soft skills, the communication skills, and all those skills what we need to lead big organizations. We need the competencies, right? We need skilled people who understand basically how the automotive industry is working, who understand what the customers would like to have, what are the pain points of them. So all those business topics. The third one is the infrastructure. I'm not only talking about the internal infrastructure, which is important. So with FDI, for sure, we have been also supported by the HIPAA in the last 10, 20 years, just setting up and building up basically the own infrastructure, which is the building, which is anything else, the production plants. It's important. But I want to talk about basically the external infrastructure, because that infrastructure, so this kind of proving ground which is located in Zolazon, that helps us basically to bring the automotive key players together, just to have the common language, just to have the common infrastructure, the basic, the fundament, what we can use basically to be successful in the ecosystem. That's very important, that's crucial. I can tell you the Bosch does have such a proving ground or similar proving ground in Boxberg. You might be familiar with that. But it's not comparable because that's bigger. So basically, I'm also telling my Bosch colleagues that what we have here in Zolazon, and unfortunately, Professor Palkovic is not here, but was invited and he planned also to come. And I would say that he would be very happy just looking at this slide and hearing my words in this regard. Because basically, I know the maturity level, the operation, the working is not so high. But I think that's a very crucial infrastructure which helps us in Hungary to bring the automotive key players together, including also the suppliers, and just having the same fundament and trying to discuss the the common topics which we could do and manage in Hungary. What was the model in the past? So we heard also from István that, yes, FDI is important. So that was basically in the last 20 years. So we were concentrating on the FDI, which we have to, obviously we have to say and we have to admit that that helped us to create infrastructure. That's kind of investment. That helped us to make technological transfer. For sure, reflecting back 20 years, that was not obvious to find real hardcore automotive engineers in Hungary. So in the last 20 years, we could basically reach not only within the Bosch structure, but also within the automotive segment, that we have people who do have a good understanding, so how the automotive industry is working. And that's helped, or that was thanks to this FDI strategy. So we have skilled people, we have the technologies, we have technologies in the production plants, which called Industrial 4.0. So we are pretty much familiar. So we can compete also with German companies, we can compete also with American companies in terms of understanding, in terms of technology. So if somebody is visiting the US sites at Bosch or somewhere else, visit the customers, then we have the same language, what we can understand, what we can speak. And that's good, and we are proud of it. But it's not enough to talk about only the FDI. It's not enough to say that, okay, we could increase the FDI volume. It's good. But the question is what we can do. What is required now? Obvious answer, I said also in the first couple of sentences of my speech, ecosystem thinking, right? Thinking an ecosystem. But we have to understand, what does it mean? What does it mean? What is the roles of different players? How many players are included into the ecosystem? But before we are going and jumping into this topic, we have to understand why we need to think about ecosystem. Because you can say that, okay, it's ecosystem, it's a sexy word. I mean, everybody's using this word, everybody's coming and say ecosystem, ecosystem, ecosystem. If somebody's looking at my interviews, then okay, Stas is talking about ecosystem. Somebody's understanding something in my interviews and can understand also why I'm talking about ecosystem. Just let me give some examples why I'm talking about ecosystem. First of all, let me start with the megatrends. These are the automotive megatrends. Nothing new. Doesn't matter which company you're working for. You could work for big companies. You could work for small SMEs. Electrification. Electrification is megatrend. For sure, why megatrend? Because we have some solutions. We have, for sure, powertrain, electrical powertrain, but there are some challenges. Still some challenges which haven't been solved so far. So we have to really work hardly on those topics. Automation. Formerly we said autonomous driving. So this is, which is, especially for the young people, but also for my age, it's very attractive, very sexy. Just imagine when we can have the first autonomous driving car on the street. My answer is yes, we do have already, right? So I can maybe I can tell you that it depends which level we are talking about. If you are talking about the level 5, for sure, we do not have the level 5 vehicles. If you talk about the level up to level 4, maybe up to level 3, we do have already on the streets. But anyway, there are a lot of challenges. So we have to solve those challenges, and these are very complex megatrends. Just reflecting back in the past, maybe 20 years back, the Bosch was always able to innovate everything, products, systems, solutions on their own competencies. That is the legacy of Bosch in the last 138 years. But giving answers to those megatrends, it's not so easy. So it's not enough to say that, okay, the Bosch, as one of the most innovative supplier, can solve all those issues. It's not enough. Sorry, I don't want to frustrate the OEMs who are representing. Maybe there are some OEMs representatives here, but OEMs is also not able to, or are not able to solve those issues on their own. So we have to create an alliance. We have to create collaboration, because these are very, very complex megatrends, and the situation has changed in the past, and for sure this is kind of paradigm change, and we have to create alliances. Connectivity and personalized mobility, similar to the previous topic. So this is, just to remember, the first answer is why we need to talk about ecosystem, why we need to have ecosystem, because we have very complex megatrends, and nobody on the planet alone, doesn't matter big giants or small companies, can answer those questions. Second one, every single day, every single week, every single month, you are facing to those headlines. Automotive suppliers, OEMs, they're struggling. They have a lot of problems. Maybe they have to close production plants, production sites. They have to decrease the number of associates in R&D. That's a big issue. It's not something like a crisis. It's going down, and after a couple of while, maybe a couple of months, couple of years, it's going up. So this is something I'm just phrasing in a way, in one sentence, the automotive industry does have productivity issue. So we have too much capacity in the automotive industry, and currently, less projects. But anyway, if we would have the same project volume, then still we would have capacity issue, or we call it productivity issue. That's basically the root cause. That's basically the root cause why the automotive industry, all players, there's no difference between OEMs and suppliers. The only difference is maybe that somebody does have a bigger issue and problem, trouble, and somebody has less. That's the only difference. But everybody's suffering. If somebody's asking me, how are you, Stefan? I'm saying, you know, in the joke, you want from me a short answer? Then yes, or good. If you want from me a longer answer, not too good. You know, that's a problem. So second one, again, why we talk about ecosystem, because we have those issues, we have some struggle in automotive industry. The third one is my favorite one. Those who are familiar with the Porsche brand itself, which is a very favorite brand of mine, you can see the Xiaomi SU7. If you look at the first point, then you can see basically somebody who's not an expert, same chassis, the same carrosserie, the same shape. You know, I've seen a couple of weeks back one car on the street in Budapest, and at the first time I say, okay, this is a Porsche Taycan, but I was approaching and getting closer and closer to this car, and I could realize it's not a Porsche Taycan, it's a Xiaomi SU7. But looking at what are the differences, first of all, let's start with technical KPIs. If you look at the powertrain, then you can say that, and high speed, the top speed, you can see the acceleration up to 100 kilometers per hour. If you see the level 2 autonomous driving system or other systems, you can see everything that it's in all KPIs, in all technical parameters. The Xiaomi SU7 is better than the Porsche Taycan. This is a bad news, at least for Porsche. The second bad news for Porsche, that the Porsche cost is roughly 200,000 euro, and the Xiaomi SU7 is 1/5, less than 40,000 euro. For the same car, I mean same car, in terms of the bit better performance, bit better technical KPIs. And the third one is the total volume, sales volume in 2023 was, in case of Porsche, 40,000 units. In case of Xiaomi SU7, in the first 24 hours, that was more than 80,000. That's a big difference. That makes a difference between the suppliers and between the OEMs. And that's a huge challenge. And that's why we need to talk about ecosystem. Again, just remember, we have megatrends, we have some struggle, some productivity issues, and we have this pressure. We call it China pressure. That's the current situation. And in the last 20 years in Europe, we said, Europe is innovative, China is fast, right? That was always the narrative. It's not true any longer. China is innovative and fast. Europe is still innovative, but sometimes we are learning from China how they can innovate. You can remember what I said, what is the innovation power of Bosch? Each and every 20 minutes we are submitting. What is the innovation power of BYD? Each and every 10 minutes they are filing one patent. That's China speed, that's China pressure. So we have to talk about ecosystem. Question is how? You might be familiar with the MIT REAP model, which is REAP stands for Regional Entrepreneurship Acceleration Program. Very famous model. They are defining the ecosystem in a way that we need 5 players, 5 parties in the ecosystem. You can see more bubbles, but doesn't matter. End of the day, we are landing on level 5. So basically, we need the big corporates. Bosch is belonging to that. We need the SMEs, We can say also startup companies. We need venture capitals. We need the government itself, who is a very important player. And we need academia and universities. So these are the 5 players, basically, who are playing an important role in the ecosystem. That's the second phase. Just to understand, going into the details, how they should act together. I brought up today for you 2 tangible examples. But before I'm jumping into these examples, I'm just showing you, on the left-hand side, you can see kind of internal Bosch ecosystem. On the right-hand side, you can see kind of external ecosystem. I know that at the end of the day, we talk about one ecosystem, but consciously, we are discussing and we are talking about the internal ecosystem as well. Why? Because the Bosch itself is a big organization, so we could also define the internal ecosystem when it comes to the production plants, when it comes to the R&D locations, when it comes to the internal. We have also Robert Bosch Venture Capital, so basically we have everything in the ecosystem what we need. We do not have Bosch University, but we have research, corporate research, so we could define basically the players who are playing an important role in the ecosystem within the Bosch structure. But anyway, I do not have time today to talk about the internal ecosystem. I just want to highlight you the external ecosystem. You can see on the right-hand side of this slide the boxes which show you what are the dimensions of the collaboration. We can collaborate with each other because we have a problem, we have an issue to be solved, but we do not have any solution for that. Right? So we are looking for somebody, could be a SME, could be a big company, could be a university. We are looking for somebody who could solve those issues. That's the first dimension of the collaboration. We could also have the need for the collaboration to develop new solutions, which is not available today. It's not existing today. That's also a kind of very internal motivation or need for the collaboration. We can see also other boxes. We could have new business model and defining new business model, finding or figuring out new business models. That could be also kind of motivation of the collaboration. Let me highlight you, what about the first one, where we have a problem, we have an issue to be solved, but we do not have currently the solution for that. It's pretty much complicated and overcrowded. Don't worry, so I will guide you through. First of all, that's a real tangible example. It's not a theoretical example. It's nothing that you say, okay, I'm just trying to figuring out something for this event. It's a very tangible example. In Hatvan, in the plant, which is not only in Europe, but within the Bosch world, the biggest automotive electronic production plant, more than 5,000 associates, roughly 2 billion euro turnover revenue. So we have a problem because next to this plant, we have also a logistics center. And they are receiving a huge volume of packaging with components, with electronic components, with raw material, with anything else. And you can imagine it's a hard work to unpackage these boxes because human associates, I mean, they are doing right now. And it's time-consuming, it's not so productive, not so efficient. So we come to the idea we would need a kind of robot which helps us automatically to unpackage those boxes. But on the market, there is no solution available. So we approached the ELTA, the AI, Industrial AI department, which is basically, if you allow me, I can tell our department at the university because we established this department at the ELTA. And we said, hey guys, this is the issue, this is the problem to be solved, so we would need a solution for that. Please help us. It's a kind of applied research. It's not a basic research, it's a kind of applied research. But together with the Budapest guys, AI experts, guys who are pretty much familiar also in Hatvan, also in Budapest, in those logistic issues or unpackaging, I call it unpackaging issues, they approached the ELTA and said, hey, together with them, let's develop a common solution for that. Now I can tell you we are in the prototype phase. It's not a commercial off-the-shelf product because solution is not existing, as I was mentioning. If I'm telling you the robot arms itself is existing, right, but there is no such a use case from the companies who are providing such a robot arms which can solve this issue. The software itself, I can tell you also, yeah, AI software, because you have to somehow, based on video camera pictures and images, recognize, so what about the box, what is the shape of the box, what is the size of the box, what about, I mean, just to cut and somehow open it up. But cutting, the paper itself, not damaging the content of this box. So there are some issues where we have to use AI, we have to use image processing, we have to use some very special solutions in this manner. Again, just relying on universities, relying on their competencies is very important because alone, again, remember, you can't solve really all issues. You need partners for that. And this is one example, one particular example, why we are using for sure, not only ELTE, but there are good collaboration, close collaboration with other universities, why we are using and relying on those partnerships. Second example seems to be a bit complicated, but that leads us to Moklar, which is the plant dealing with automotive steering within the Bosch structure. So the guys, if somebody is familiar in production field, the predictive maintenance is something which is crucial. So let's imagine, especially in this, in German we say Taktzeit, looking at how fast you have to produce basically your products. So looking at the production line itself, how many production cells you have within one production line, and what is basically the synchronization of those cells. It's very, very crucial in terms of productivity, in terms of efficiency, that if something happens with one production cell within the production line, then that could be trouble in terms of output, in terms of efficiency. So you have to have a predictive maintenance. You have to really know prior to the failure of the production cell when this failure could happen and what could be the consequence of that. And these guys, I mean, that was the issue, that is the issue, that was the issue in the past. And they approached us in Budapest and say, hey guys, do you have any idea based on maybe AI, how can we have predictive maintenance? We said, well, I mean, there is no solution yet, but let's search and let's make a scouting worldwide. And there is a well-known Deep Tech Alliance. This is kind of platform. They are bringing together the venture capitals, the startup companies, and the big companies as well. The big companies, it's kind of membership. The big companies are allowed to somehow submit the issues, and they are making a workshop, and they are inviting the startup companies who potentially could answer and solve those issues. And we are meeting each other. And what we are doing is nothing special. Just coming together, there is a platform, there is an issue, and 20 startups, maybe 30 startups or 100 startups, they are registering themselves and they are coming, hey, well, I could have a solution for that. This is what we did together with Deep Tech Alliance. Again, it's nothing secret, so you can also register yourself and pay membership. And basically you find one startup company who is located in Sweden. The funny story is that startup company who is located in Sweden, the founder is a Hungarian one. And he was very happy with a Hungarian-based German company. We approached them, and we said to him, hey, look, I mean, we have this issue. You could have a solution for that. Solution is nothing, just they do have a very high-resolution sensor cluster, including gyro sensor. Sorry if I'm too deep technically. You can also ask all the time. But I can also have deep dive. I can also cover the spectrum of those topics. So they do have a high-resolution sensor cluster, and they are measuring, especially in CNC machine, especially in robotic arms, they are measuring basically every single movement of this arm. And they are modeling also the physical hardware of that. And they are trying to predict, based on the measured signal, when the predictive maintenance should be happening and which failure could happen. And especially if the failure happens in an early phase of that, then they could predict what is the failure, and they can give the signal and warning to the maintenance guys. It's nothing special, but it's not so obvious. So they need to model the physical CNC machine or even the robotic arm. They have to build up the physical model. They have to measure the signal. They have to interpret the signals. They have to combine this physical model with AI database models. And based on that, they could figure out what happens and what will happen in the future, because that's predictive maintenance. That happens. So basically, we are in a pilot phase, and we have very promising results. So that shows that the guys in Moklar, they are also pretty much happy because they could really see what will happen. Again, not what happens now, what will happen maybe in 2 weeks, maybe in 2 months, in terms of potential failures or maintenance. Again, feedback this topic to Moklar, having the pilot project, and afterwards the scale-up is coming. Because that's very important, having such a solutions within the Bosch structure like us. You have to scale up to different production plants outside of Hungary maybe. That's important because we can take over within Bosch structure the leading role. We can also scale up and roll out those solutions towards China, towards North America, towards South America, and those production plants where we are active. That's very important. So we need to talk about ecosystem, and we have to define exactly those collaborations. You can see it's not only about the Bosch internal units. There are Bosch internal units like production plants, like internal ecosystem parties, but there are players like, in the previous example, Academia University, here Deep Tech Alliance, and also the startups. That's very important, because anyway, just solving all those issues on our own and based on our competencies, that would take too much time. And taking too much time, we are losing competitiveness. I know that sometimes it's good to talk about ecosystem, but I have to say honestly to you that the maturity level, operating and working in an ecosystem is not so good in Hungary. Why? Because we have some, if you allow me, as a big friend of the ecosystem and kind of shaper of the ecosystem, I'm just expressing some expectations, what could be the expectation or maybe the roles of the SMEs, small mid-sized enterprises. We started discussing here, before we started this conference, there is a gap between the big companies and the small one. Small doesn't matter, relative, what is the small, but small companies like SMEs. Sometimes I perceive the discussion that, and this is why I'm talking about this, because this is crucial for the success of the ecosystem. So if you take these points, and the SMEs take these points and understand these points, and even they can improve themselves, then they can contribute a lot to the ecosystem. Value chain and value proposition. I know sometimes buzzwords, sometimes words with knowing, I mean, with meaning which is known, but people who are leading those SMEs and would like to work within the ecosystem, I'm not talking about the bilateral collaborations, just collaborating with big companies, they have to understand deeply what is the value chain. I'm acting as an SME. What is my position? And even what is my USP within the value chain? I'm just unique. I'm just telling something which is really competitive, which is really unique. What is my USP? That's very crucial, very important. Every SME who would like to work together with big companies should figure out these topics. But it's not enough to say, this is my strategy. And this is my value proposition. This is the position in the value chain I'm acting and I'm positioning myself. Execution is something also very important. So you have to be able to execute those projects who will be or have been launched together with big companies. Sometimes execution is suffering. The people at the SMEs, they are not speaking the same language. They are not really familiar with those very professional project management tools or even with kind of mindset how they can execute in a professional way those projects. Market understanding, customer, who is my customer? What are my customer pain points? These are very important. Ability to, we put co-creation and collaboration. This is very co-creation. So doing something together, that's very important. Not having a silo thinking, I'm doing something on my own, I'm just delivering and be happy and viel Spaß. It's not enough. We have to say co-creation together with you as a partner. I would like to do something together. That's very important. And scalability, sustainable growth. These are important. I know you could say these are buzzwords, but sometimes, believe me, especially after this conference, people approaching me and asking, hey, how we can collaborate with each other. I'm just asking these very crucial and, I would say, simple questions. There are no answers for them. So it's very important. And just second, I know, one slide. Not anymore, not any longer. Role of universities. I just don't want to make any frustration in case of organizers. But role of universities, because I talked to the collaboration, or talked about the collaboration of universities. Sometimes more that change universities, there are some people who do have practical exam or practical experience with that, myself as well, because I'm also sitting at Oberoi University. Strong technical competencies, it's important. We could say it's fine, I mean, check mark, yeah, it's not bad. Looking at the Hungarian universities, yeah, okay. Understand the dynamic and the behavior of the value chain. Yeah, we are suffering. The universities they do not understand the value chain. Even they do not, sorry, maybe it's too hard, maybe it's hurting somebody. But sometimes if I'm asking them what is the value chain, they come and they approach and I want to sell everything to you, Istvan as Bosch. Maybe this technology you can use, but no, you understand my value chain. No, not at all. And that's a big difference. So they have to understand there are no generic solutions. There are no general technological solutions that I'm telling everywhere. To agriculture, to automotive industry, to airplane industry, there are no solutions like this. And be able to identify and work on real problems. Sometimes they got stuck on a level of differential equation. And they say, okay, with that, we solve this numerically, this differential equation. Yeah, but for what? What is my issue? What is my pain point? Do not have any clue, but obviously you could have this solution. No. If you don't understand my issue, my pain points, then you cannot be successful. Business mindset, communication, business mindset, project management, and soft skills, debate culture, leadership skills, EQ, and those topics. It's very important. So I know that sometimes I'm provoking the model change universities, sometimes I'm helping them, or sometimes both of them. But I would like to give them that, yes, they have to consider these points and they have to take these points seriously. Thank you very much for your attention.
Istvan, thank you so much. In one of my former engagements, we always had the saying, think straight, talk straight, and you put the finger in some, how should I say it, in some really deep wounds, but that's the only way. That's the only way to go forward. That's the only way to understand where we have the problems. Also in the, let's say, German automotive industry, if you see those numbers, you have to think about what you're doing. So I think that was a very great speech. It should give us a lot of input for the discussions coming, also during the breaks and in our panels. So again, thank you very much. We now have a little setup change here for the panels. So I would like to ask the technicians to do that for us. And meanwhile, we would like to use the time and make a picture with all the panelists, with all the keynote speakers. So everybody involved in this event, please come forward to us and we'll make a picture together. Yes, here? Oh, that way, okay. So please keep seated. I think down. So we face that side, but we need a photographer. From that side.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Before we start, for those who need translation for Hungarian language, please get a headset from outside in front of the door, because we will have partly answers in Hungarian language. Okay, let's start. Time is running. We are in panel number 1, the power of SME corporate collaboration in manufacturing. We would like here to cover certain parts of this discussion. We have 4 themes to cover: innovation and technology, collaboration models, challenges and solutions, ecosystem and policy. And hopefully we will have a future outlook, what would be the future of SME collaborations. To cover those challenging questions in 45 minutes, time is already ticking, I think. We have invited 4 excellent panelists here today with us to cover the biggest possible variety of views to the topic. I would like to introduce to you Vidoke Márton, CEO and co-owner of Continest Technologies, Dr. Andrea Horvath, representative of the automotive cluster Debrecen, Markus M. Hoffmann, Chief Sales Officer of the Verab Group, and Gergő Elek, Managing Director of Dojfol Hungary. I think the best would be if everyone gives a very short, brief introduction of themselves and their company, and what exactly your company or your organization is doing in 2 or 3 sentences. I would like to start with you, Vido.
Thank you very much, Arne. Good morning, everyone. So as you mentioned, I'm the co-founder, co-owner, and CEO of Continest Technologies. We are a Székesfehérvár-based engineering and manufacturing company working with quite a few people. I see more and more familiar faces in the audience. Basically what we do is very special, very simple, and very unique at the same time. We fold containers due to our patented technology, meaning that we are decreasing 80% of the volume whenever the containers have to be repositioned. We're mainly acting on the temporary infrastructure market, but we're also making some steps towards the logistical market, global logistical market. We are active in 30 countries, as I mentioned, with a Székesfehérvár-based hub, but we already have a contract manufacturing partnership in North Carolina, in the United States, as well in Dubai. So that's in 2 sentences.
Yes, and I can add to that. Yesterday we visited the factory, and I have proof. I stopped the time to build the box from the folded position up to the standing position with all walls, doors and windows in. It took exactly, how much you guess? 1 minute and 58 seconds. So that's really impressive, Vido.
We usually market it 3 to 5 minutes, but usually it's under that. So yeah, thank you.
I have proof. Okay. Andrea, please tell us what the automotive cluster Debrecen is doing.
A very warm welcome to everyone. Thank you very much for your kind invitation. Just a few words about myself. I myself am working at the university in Debrecen. My main domain is cultural management, and I'm helping German institutions in management, in innovation. And this is how the automotive cluster, the idea for this was born. We founded this last December, and I am the CEO of this. So this is my role in this panel discussion today here.
We have visited you already recently in Debrecen. I think that is a very good development. You're also combining, of course, small and medium-sized companies and the big ones. So I think it's a very good strategy which you have chosen there in Debrecen. Markus, please give us a short description of yourself and the company.
Thank you very much, Arne. Thank you for the invitation. Welcome to Budapest, dear ladies and gentlemen. My name is Markus Hoffmann. I, in the past, used to live in Hungary for 5 years. Currently, I'm the CSO of Verab Group. Verab Group is a company headquartered in Switzerland with sites in Slovakia, Serbia, Romania, and in Germany. Hopefully soon again in Hungary as well. And we are used to be, 20 years ago, typical what we heard from Bosch today, an extended workbench. But these times have long gone. So my company is developing electronics, inductive goods and cabling for industrial applications, for healthcare, like patient control systems, but we also do inductive goods, for example, for munition at Rheinmetall. So we are not just a production bench, we are also developing, we are integrating, and I think we are a valuable part of an ecosystem. And this is something which I will later on tell you more in detail. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Markus. And finally, Gergő, also located in Debrecen. Please give us a short introduction.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the invitation. The Dolfo Group, probably you haven't heard about this, but we are one of the market leaders of the industrial packing industry based in Germany. What the industrial packing means, I could simply say that everything which is big, heavy, unshaped, so everything what we have to pack and deliver from A to B, we are here for that. The Debrecen operation started in 2019, and since then our headcount growth is about 180%. So right now we have a relatively good scale of the SME size. But we will talk about later on that we don't believe that we are an SME anymore, but that's a topic later on. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Going into the questions, I always go around through the panel. Vido, I would like to start with you. How do SMEs contribute to technological innovation in manufacturing ecosystems?
So I was yesterday, the day before yesterday, I was on another panel and about SMEs' role in innovation and everything. And I think it's very simple. SMEs need to survive, right? Especially in these days. And we, not so long ago, we were still a startup. Now I'm still getting used to the terminology of SME, but we are now 100 people, employing 100 people, and had a turnover around 10 million euros. So probably we are not in a startup anymore. Basically, the added value from our part is agility. First of all, like how fast we can address the requirements of the corporations. And when we talk about corporations, I think also government, right? Because in our case, we are active in the defense industry and civilian protection. So how agile you can address the request of the end user, of the customer. And this is coming from the need that you need to stay alive, you need to progress, you need to generate new added value, because otherwise you're being left behind. And this is specifically true for us. We are building containers. It's not rocket science, right? That being said, when we were in the US 2022, in the largest FDI event organized by the Commercial Service of the United States Embassy, we actually won the clean tech technology panel because of the integration capability into containerized solutions. So it's about, thinking out of the box. We building boxes, but thinking out of the box and being very agile and being very responsive. That's I think, the highest added value. And large organizations like Bosch or Rheinmetall or any of the big players on the market, they need this because they on their own, they're not very agile because of the corporate structure that they have. But this is something that we can bring to the table, and we actually do on a daily basis. It can be also counterproductive because sometimes you get taken away by the enthusiasm, and then you need to calm down yourself and start thinking about margins and operational profit and all that. But yeah, agility, I think it's one of the high added values from our side to the corporate sector.
Yes, you said it, you are producing boxes. That is generally, nothing really new, but only the innovation part made you successful.
True. We broke a mold that was functioning perfectly for 60 years, right? So we disrupted this industry quite interestingly. Although I have an economist background and my business partner has a communication background, so it doesn't really mean that we are supposed to be in this industry, but the innovation part that we actually acquired from the Netherlands, and this is an interesting Hungarian story, that this is not a Hungarian innovation that was taken to Germany, for example, or to the Netherlands and became a global success story, but it's the other way around. This is a Dutch innovation which was brought to Hungary, and now we are expanding it globally. But innovation in its own is not enough. Even the patent, it's not enough. We are being asked, okay, are we patented? Yes, we are patented in 90 countries. We spent 4 years and 200,000 euros on our patents, and we're still being copied from China, from Germany, and from the Netherlands. So it's the attitude, it's the can-do attitude, and it's this kind of survival instinct, which I don't know if it's Hungarian typical or it's more an SME or startup instinct, but yeah, it's innovation, and then go for it. Like no health measures, just 100% two feet on the gas pedal kind of approach.
Yeah, and basically innovation today is history tomorrow, right? So you always have to rethink your position, the same what we heard before from Bosch. You have to be faster than the competition with new ideas.
Well, faster and better, all right? So I'm always saying that for us, the real protection is the quality of the product, the quality of the service, and the speed of market penetration. Patents are like, I'm not going to be able to sue anybody in China, right? I'm still a Hungarian SME, so how am I going to enforce any patent infringement on my patent? Nobody will give a shit, excuse my French. But if I produce the best product, if I deliver the best service, and I keep continuously innovating, that's my protection. And the other thing I didn't mention is that we are very consciously a vertically integrated organization, meaning that we have in-house engineering, in-house prototyping, in-house small scale and large scale manufacturing. So when somebody comes to us with a problem, we tell them, okay, tell us what you need and we'll translate it for you. We'll put it in a modular infrastructure language and give you the most optimal result, optimal from technical point of view and from quality point of view as well. So I think this is the mindset that you need. Like we talk about ecosystems, you need to come with solutions. Nobody's interested in products or services on their own. This is what we learned in the last 5 years. Everybody's looking for solutions. If you can be a one-stop solution, it's even better. But we'll go to the next question when we can address this.
Okay, thank you so much. Andrea, what are some successful examples of joint product development between SMEs and corporates from your experience working with both?
Talán számunkra
for the Debrecen automotive cluster, the joint product is creating the cluster itself, because in this cluster we have 10 companies, founding companies, from big corporates to smaller SMEs, and the university is our 10th member. So this cooperation itself is our first product, let's say, which was the result of the cooperation, which resulted in that we could be founded in December. So collaboration. As also, we have a member here in Hungarian panelists, member of our cluster. What was very important that, of course, everyone is dealing with his or her own production, but it was very important to find some common targets, to define some common goals that we want to reach with the big corporates and the SMEs. And one of the most important products is training, education development, and the first cluster was created within the Debrecen automotive cluster, which is the dual education and developing and renewal of this. Why was this so important for us? Because our president, BMW, has a long history with this regard, dual education, dual training, so we can learn a lot from that, how young talents, students can be involved, how this training format can be renewed, but even the big corporates can learn a lot from the SMEs, and Gergő's companies, for example, very important, and their dual training system was presented to us, and how well motivation were. Asia is also very important, CATL and EasyBar, so they were very open they are at the state right now where they are about to start these dual education programs. We try to have a kind of unique education model, and this is an excellent format to develop this product together. But besides the dual training format, within this we try also to coordinate that this not so easy new generation, this Generation Z, who they are being said that they are not so motivated, but I'm careful with this because I myself have 3 children and from this generation. So the values, the corporate values, are also being stressed and highlighted. So we have soft skill developments. We have started a new program. There is teacher further training reform. So a mindset change we try to achieve when it comes to teachers on the basis of German examples, what it means, project attitude, critical thinking, argumentation skills, communication skills in a foreign language, because we see that even if the education in Hungary is developing, but still when the dual training begins, there are some deficiencies. So this is why we are concentrating right now in the cluster on these areas. Thank you.
I believe you have seen more and more direct communication between your members, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. Yes, there is intensive working going on in the cluster. Each month there are meetings, cooperations, and I will tell you more about this, that there are really the basis of common interests, like transport, coordinating, harmonizing transport in Debrecen is one of the main issues that we are focusing on, or within an industry park, the given company. So for employees, the buses, the trains, and so on, that there would be joint buses, for example, for an industrial park for all the employees working at these companies and not separate. So we are working on the development of different products.
That's a great example how also, let's say, local government can help communication and developments between the companies. Thank you for the description. Markus, how can corporates create a culture that welcomes external innovation from SMEs?
First of all, let me say, I think it's never a one-way road. So I think both partners definitely in the end of the day have to work on that. And if I address the big corporates, then my wish for the future would be that we go away from the I win, you lose mentality like we had it a long time ago. So during, let's say before COVID, this mentality disappeared because everybody needs each other. Otherwise, like Bosch also mentioned, you cannot grow if you not have the ecosystem. But what I see nowadays in certain sectors, not in every sector, but in certain sectors, that as business is going down at the moment, everybody trying to ramp up their walls again in the ecosystem. And I think that's wrong. We always should try to have a way of connectivity in the market. That's the one side. And the second for the big corporates is we should also overcome the not designed here mentality or the not designed here syndrome, which we faced in the past. So I work as a company where we do not have own products. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we don't have expertise. And if I approach a new customer, then I always have the barrier that especially quality engineers, test engineers, other engineers, they have done it the same way the last 20 years, and they are afraid that business is going away from them, that their business unit getting smaller, the headcount getting smaller. And this is something which is also not good in the end of the day for the corporation. Because a company like ours, we can help you a lot. So if we do business in healthcare, we do business in railway, in civil avionics, in military, I often have seen it that things we found out in military also helped the civil avionics company. So this is something I think we should more find a way to have connectivity. But, and as I mentioned, it's not a one-way road. We as SMEs, so my company is a revenue of 70 million euros and 300 people. According to German standards, we call ourselves still a SME, but we need to be more agile. So I see a lot of complaints from SMEs that, oh, I cannot play with the big guys, they don't let me in, I don't see how can I enter that kind of business. But first of all, we always need to find out, is there any pain at the customer? So whether it's growth or it's problems. And if we find out together with the customer by asking him, what is the problem you have? How can I help you to solve that? This is proactivity and agility which they need. So we cannot expect that the big guys turn to us and ask us for a favor. We need to address them. And if the corporates overcome the I do everything by myself, and if the SME overcome the I did it the same way the last 20 years, then I think that that will work out. So again, it's not a one-way road.
Thank you, Markus. So openness and communication, the keywords, I would say, right?
Like always in life. So I always tell my sales guys, people buy from people. So not corporates buy from corporates, people buy from people. And we are in an industry where margin is not that big. So, but that's the nature of our business. But I'm pretty sure that a couple of percentage in price differences you can overcome by a good, reliable collaboration. And I think that's important. And don't work as a SME with discounts, and don't work with narrow-mindedness. Open up your mind, and rather than give a discount, try to do upselling. I think that's one of the key messages.
Thank you, Markus. Gerge, you are long established in Debrecen already. What infrastructure, from your point of view, is needed to support cross-sector and cross-border SME corporate alliances?
Nice question, Arne. Thank you. I was thinking about, and I mentioned already to you that if we see the definition of SMEs, I think small doesn't help us, because it helps that we are small and not good enough. And I think that's the first thing what you have to forget. It might be that you are small in terms of headcount, in terms of, sales, in terms of area what you have, but you have to be big enough, to think about the way how the big players are thinking. And that was one of the biggest challenge and achievement what we have done in the last 5 years, to understand the needs of the customer and to step up proactively, as you mentioned. The good thing is that within our internal network, the key word right now is that the data is the new currency. And therefore, we developed our own digital IT solution to support the supply chain information flow for our customers. So one thing is that how you pack a good, how you pack a big machine. That's kind of a skill what you need to have, no doubt about that. But beyond that, you need to make sure that you have the data in your hand, you know the actual situation, you know where the goods are, in what conditions, because that is giving some kind of confidence for the customers. So from first day on, we have used our own digital solutions in order to make sure that we know everything what the customers may not know. And this is a key factor to be successful for the future. We believe that we believe so. Let me also mention that the standardization and the engineering way of thinking is also important part of the story. So when we make a packaging in Debrecen, you can be sure that this is the same way of packaging what other Teufel location is doing, no matter where they are. That helps us, to be better, to be effective, and that also helps our customers to understand that the way how we pack will be exactly the same wherever they are. We also need to follow certain legislations in terms of IPPC standards and so on. So we need to follow those regulations as well. So I think those are the key areas what we realized at the very beginning.
I think that's one additionally very important topic you just mentioned, keeping up the standards and the quality.
Yeah, I agree. Just imagine when we are talking about a heavy machinery that usually costs a hell of money. That is the value of the customer, and they would like to see that the product will arrive in one piece, in a good condition. So our job is very crucial for the customer because to deliver a 40 tons of machine from Europe to Asia or wherever it has to be delivered, that's not an easy task. So you can tell them that, okay, I'm an innovative and you know, I'm just going to cut down the cost and find alternative ways. But at the end of the day, this is their product, and probably this is also part of some other supply chain which are waiting for that product. So the quality and the standardization is crucial in our industry.
Thank you so much. Let's go into round two. I'm looking at the watch. We started late, so we can also finish late, right? So we don't want to cut this panel short. Okay, going into round two, round three. I'm not sure we will make it, but let's start with the second one. How will AI and, Vidor, for you the question, how will AI and automation impact SME corporate collaboration in the next 5 to 10 years?
So the reason I'm smiling is because when I read this question, I was like, okay, I have no idea. That's the first thing came to my mind. But what is really interesting is that at Continest, you met our production manager yesterday. He's a 24-year-old guy who graduated from the Budapest Technical University this year, and who is definitely the generation of the next generation of managers, of SME or corporate managers, for whom the AI is just as normal as having Wi-Fi and power, right? So it's like part of their daily routine. So I asked Bence yesterday, okay, give me some input on this, like what's the good answer? And he was like, well, I asked ChatGPT about it. so this is the mentality that we need to start embracing, and I'm not a very high-tech guy. I'm pretty much down to earth. I'm very practical, very pragmatical. But one more remark, and then I will try to focus on the question and the time pressure that we have is that I had a discussion about psychological processes and like going to therapy and all that. And I asked ChatGPT one very, very human and very personal question. And the answer that ChatGPT gave to me made me think about, do I need a therapist anymore? You know, like I have a free or 20 euros per month therapist on my phone, which I can use anywhere in the world. This question I addressed it in Tokyo in a hotel room. But anyway, getting back to the main question. So reading through ChatGPT's answers, I can highlight two things that are definitely practical, and we've seen it in our own life. One is supply chain improvement. So us as an SME, we are quite struggling, with reaching out to suppliers, reaching out to raw material manufacturers. We talked about this issue also yesterday, like steel and other components or other raw materials. And many times when we give quotations to customers, I have the feeling that we screwed something up because I think that the cost of the product should be lower, but I don't have really any database to support this. It's more of a gut feeling, and this is where AI actually is already and will be able to provide more certainty and more precision and more speed. Like, how can you screen your suppliers? How can you screen for a certain product or a certain service on the global network? Right. That's the point of the AI. It's global. It's international. It doesn't matter what language are you using, because ChatGPT is basically a language platform. This is where I see one of the big advantages from our point of view, and this I think translates into the corporate SME partnerships as well, because it's as Marcus said, it is a two-way road all the time. So it's true for the corporates towards us, it's true for us towards the corporations. Then the other thing, it's also a personal experience that I'm facing today as an ongoing issue, is that I showed you yesterday the pictures from Saudi Arabia. We are currently building a 1,060 square meter temporary infrastructure facility at 2,003 meter above sea level in Saudi Arabia, literally in the middle of nowhere. The customer is called NEOM. It is the largest property development project in the world. It is a semi-governmental project and company run by international management in a Saudi tax and law environment. So I think you cannot really mess it up more than this in any way. And for us as an SME, it's critical to get connected to these global projects and global enterprises. And we managed to get the contract. We managed to get the contract 1 year ago. And when we started implementing the project, we faced the compliance and all the legal issues that we had no idea that will come. And not legal issue in your sense, like how can you be compliant with rules and regulations that you're not aware of, you're getting aware of on site, and then this delays 24 hours, 72 hours on a 2-week deployment, right? So what I expect from the AI SME point of view, it's you know, better understanding of frameworks, better understanding of how can you be compliant with certain very complex regulations, and how can you address these. So yeah, so, there is a lot more. ChatGPT gave me a lot of ideas what to look for, but I think supply chain and compliance and readiness to be able to handle complex issues and time saving. That's the other thing, like optimization. And it was very interesting. I talked to one guy from Croatia who was into AI in marketing. Like, how can you use AI in marketing? And he said one of his things that his workflow became so efficient that he has 1 free day now. And then I was like, okay, probably he's sailing or fishing one day on the Adriatic Sea. But he said, no, what I'm doing is I'm learning. So on this free day that I have, due to AI, I'm not going having beer with my friends. I'm learning what's the next thing that we need to prepare for. So this is a very interesting change of you know, like how things are done and how things are going to be done due to this new beast that came into our everyday life. And I think instead of fighting it, this is an advice to myself, I'm trying to embrace it in a way that it, you know, helps me also with my therapeutic questions. Thank you.
And you know, you just gave away 2 secrets right now. First, that you knew the question in advance. I completely deny that. And ChatGPT. But yes, coming back to it, I think, yes, ChatGPT, it's just the beginning, right? I mean, we will hear later from Laszlo, who just arrived, welcome, about AI. I think ChatGPT is just the beginning of the things we will see in the next 2, 5, 10 years. So let's say innovation, which was until now, let's say, done by our brains, will be maybe done by AI, right?
I'm not an AI expert by any means. I'm never going to be one. But what I understand is that yes, ChatGPT is basically a language platform, right? So it gathers the data from the global databases and it translates in a way that I don't know how to pronounce it in English, but as ChatGPT thinks that it will please you in the best way. But definitely this is just the surface, and we are learning new terms that are either scary or encouraging. I think they're more encouraging because, yeah, supply chain workspace or jobs in the supply chain industry probably will be affected by the AI. That's partially is treated as a fact already. But those people will probably be able to do another job with high added value in some other industries. So I think that, yeah, it's just the beginning. It's definitely something that I need to learn a lot about if I want to keep up with the trend, especially if, you know, we're going to start competing with a 20-year new wave management. Yeah, maybe as a founder I don't need to compete with them, but somebody who is not in the position of a founder, then I think that's an issue that you need to really start learning a lot about what's next, what's coming next.
Yeah, I fully agree. Andrea, coming back more to something traditional, what collaboration models work best from your point of view with the members of your organization? Supplier partnerships, joint ventures, incubators, or accelerators, or are all of them, let's say, different?
Én most Márira nézem válaszolni.
Yeah, I try to keep it short and simple, my answer. So, as I mentioned before, it is a prerequisite for the functioning of the cluster. Of course, we also use ChatGPT and other helps like this, but we have strategic partnerships as our basic founding stone. So, and in these strategic partnerships, let me add to what Alec also said, that it is an important task of the cluster to strengthen SMEs and to give them this identification feeling that they are also big and they are also very important and play a significant role. And within the Debrecen cluster, SMEs are the most active members, from the founding members of the cluster. And with this strategic partnership, we also want to show and enable that also. But otherwise, smaller companies have difficult possibilities meeting corporates, and cluster enables such meetings and enables this joint learning possibilities that even an OEM can learn from a smaller company, from an SME project mindset, which can be very beneficial for an OEM, and for corporates, they can show best practices for smaller companies concerning supply management and tendering processes, workshops, further trainings. So at certain strategic points, we cooperate together, and it's really business for business mindset and mentality that we have in this cooperation. So the city is our important partner, but they are just an honorary member within the cluster, so they have no decision-making right. Precisely that the business actors can be really there for the rooms themselves. And concerning this cluster cooperation and transport, public transport and the airport, developing that, so expats, we try to harmonize their travel needs. That is also an important aspect for the cluster. And we also have the HR matters, and we also will have an HR cluster shortly, because we have a labor shortage problem and fluctuation problem, and it is important to talk about these issues, and it can lead to a further aspect of this cooperation. And then a third matter, which is important concerning a strategic cooperation in Debrecen, there are more and more foreign companies. Already now we have a lot, and more are coming, and we can learn a lot from each other, the intercultural aspects, how to integrate foreign employees in the corporate culture and into the city life, and this is also a common strategic interest. Thank you.
I would go, Markus, to you. You mentioned it already, you are not really having your own products. So what role do digital platforms play in the connection of SMEs and bigger corporates from your point of view?
I think a big one. Let me share 2 examples with you I saw during my career around the globe. So one from the US, one from Israel. In the US, this kind of culture of platforms, working with platforms, this is already existing for a quite long time. So in the past, I worked with an accelerator called Plug and Play in the US. Maybe some of you already heard from these guys. PayPal, for example, they raised the first 5 cents through these guys. So Elon Musk is not talking about this nowadays anymore, but this was his start in Palo Alto. And these guys very early already set a digital footprint on that. So not these typical association meetings, which are important, but they really had a, let's say, quick and dirty approach, and also a win fast, lose fast approach. So give it a try, check out if it's working. If it's not working, push it away, try the next time. I think that is saving costs, and that also saving us from disappointment. And the other example I want to share is also something I was very impressed on. Today I heard that Hungarian companies also do this partially, but maybe some of you heard already from the Startup Nation Central in Tel Aviv. So these guys, they have a total different approach like we are used to have it in Europe. They're also using these digital platforms, but they put it around. So it's not that startups working on solutions and then pitch them to potential investors, but the investors, they're turning to this Startup Nation Center, they're pitching their problem, then they send all the startups back home, they're working on a potential solution and come up with an idea 6, 8, 10 weeks later. And again, you opt for digital platforms. If we not try to combine all that stuff, that information, you said it today, data is the new currency, then we get lost. Because our lives nowadays are much faster than in the past. So when I competed 10 years ago, then I competed with 1 or 2 companies. Nowadays, an RFQ or a benchmark is sent out in milliseconds, and hundreds of companies can participate. And if I just put it down on the costs of goods, that is not enough. And that's why I think if you have a good digital platform, like the examples I mentioned, you're definitely in an advantage.
I think that was very interesting information. Definitely, I'm sure not known for everyone that those kind of platforms actually reverse the situation, that the problem is pitched and then the solution will be developed. I think it's very interesting.
And I think that's maybe not something for every industry. So there is this, let's say, this conservative classical industries which might be not so open for that. But when you really step into consumer electronics or even on automotive solutions, the Chinese, by the way, they do it the same way. So the Chinese, they are very efficient. I lived 2 years in China and I learned a lot from these guys. So we talked about this morning. So let's find the connectivity with these digital platforms. Not confrontation, not ideology, but yeah, moving on and find a common solution.
Thank you, Markus. Because of time, last question. Gergo goes to you. If you would have one piece of advice to SMEs and or to the big corporations, how to cooperate better with each other or even how to start the process, what would you give them?
So you skipped one of the questions which I was preparing
for. Which questions?
I deny that.
Okay.
You want the other one?
Yeah, because, you know, I had a short story, but yeah, I know. But I have to admit that I used to work for big tier 1, tier 2 suppliers for different kind of industries. Now I'm representing an SME, so I have some kind of broad experience, and I would like to stay in the middle. And I would like to walk out, you know, without the big players beat me. But anyhow, I believe the one advice I could give is to, you know, start real collaborations. And, you know, I would highlight real cooperations because everybody's talking about for a long time. But when we are talking about and when we see the details, then there are a lot of things which could be improved, both from the SME side and both from the big player side. Just a couple of examples. I would like to mention one method. I was not the inventor of it, but I use it very frequently on a daily basis, called KISS method, which is keep it simple, stupid. And I raise simple questions to the SMEs, such as, are you ready for your financial planning for this year and for the next 3 years? If you don't have a financial planning, then how do you want to prepare the challenges ahead of you? But also on the other side, on the big players, 180 days payment terms. Come on, why do you want to do this? What is the benefit of doing this? This is just play with the numbers. It might help, you know, to impress your KPIs, like your working capital is in a better shape. But at the end of the day, this is extra cost for all of us. So such kind of simple things, I think, would help us to really understand what has to be done on the SME side, but also on the other side, what the big players can help for the SMEs to be better.
Thank you so much. I think there's nothing more to add. I have a very long summary, which I would like to start now. No, I'm just joking. Thank you all for the participation, for the preparation, for your time. I think it was a very fruitful, interesting panel with a lot of aspects. We could continue this, of course. There are many more aspects we could cover. But for today, that's it. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, 15 minutes. Thank you. Please take your seats. Ich sehe dich. Ich habe das Mikrofon. So please, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to continue with the second part of our today's event. Have a seat. I know it's always difficult after the coffee break or any kind of break. Yes? Yes, I recognize 7 minutes after 12. It's not much better than yesterday, I have to say. But at least you are here before many others. So that's our German delegation is already in the room. We are coming to a very interesting topic, and maybe the topic of our times, regarding business and innovation and how we will go forward into the future, and that's artificial intelligence. And we are really happy that we have an amazing speaker. We are very honored that Professor Laszlo Palkovic is today with us, who is following him or on social media. Will see that he is a very busy man right now. He is traveling around the world and he's giving lectures on AI, which I think you did already this morning as well. So it is a very hot topic. I still try to speak a little bit longer so that people come in and can listen to you. But in all seriousness, I think it will be an amazing speech and topic. And now I'm out of my words and I give it to you, Laszlo.
So, thank you very much. Well, I got the warning that I need to speak, or I can speak only 15 minutes. So I told my Teres that next, so what? Entweder oder, beide, okay. Next time I'm going to send my avatar. By the way, I have an avatar, and it looks better than myself and speaks slower as well. I speak German, well, and 78 other languages, by the way, but yeah, I'm getting better. So thank you very much for the invitation, and I was asked to talk about my new role, or better to say not the new role, but the activities what we are doing. And I would like shortly introduce that strategy what we submitted to the government about artificial intelligence, what are the major elements of that and what is going to happen now. I can talk about that quite long. Now I need to do it in a short form, so I will try to do my best. Okay, I would like to listen to, I will listen to Judith afterwards, that's fine. Okay, it works. Hopefully you can see it. I cannot see that, but I try to do it from memory. So basically, artificial intelligence is not a new topic. There are big ambitions all around the world. Already in 2020, the Hungarian government joined also to those countries in the world and also in Europe who developed their strategy for artificial intelligence. Frankly speaking, at that time, artificial intelligence was still sort of game for the engineers understanding what is the neural network and supercomputing and so on. And we defined different directions, different projects, what Hungary should do. And actually, it was a good strategy, but artificial intelligence today is not a result of the innovation, not the technology, but this is totally something. That's why we needed to change this. There are different type of approaches in the world. I don't want to get into details. The two major approaches, China and the United States. United States said, well, let's see what happens, do it. And seemingly it works. China set targets, regulated, but that works as well. So question what is in the European Union and what is in Hungary. It is a quite recent comparison of sort of readiness, AI readiness index. Where do we stay, Hungary, in comparison to the Central Eastern European countries? We are more or less at the same position as those are, which is not a big wonder because the European Union started to regulate only a year ago. What are we going to do in Europe? If we compare ourselves, however, to North America, the picture looks a bit different, just because of this very flexible approach from the North American governments. They are doing much better. They are investing much more than we are investing. It's not only the governments, but also the private investment goes to that. Research and development was started much earlier, and seemingly it functions better. And what is important that they started to generate an ecosystem. This ecosystem is still being elaborated in Europe. It's generally valid for all the European countries. There are some slight differences, but I cannot tell a country which is significantly in front of the other countries. So this was the input to this strategy. Why was it necessary to redo the strategy? There were different reasons. First of all, in 2020, when we generated our local strategy, still there was no European approach to the legislative environment. Basically, we generated, well, what are we going to do with the data? How are we control it? What are the organizations? What are the actors? Who are the actors in that? But now with the AI Act, the European Union generated a totally new situation. So since this is regulation there, it is becoming law in Hungary. So we also implementing the AI Act related regulations. Actually, we had 1 year for that. Many elements became already part of the Hungarian legal structure, and the other elements are being implemented by August. We need to do the next steps. We need to generate the AI office. We need to well decide about the other authorities that are we going to control it. But we are going to do that. Hungary has full commitment to this. Normally, we try to see the European legislative structure that we are over-regulating things. If I need to form an opinion from here and from my position now as a government commissioner, I should say that the current European regulation is not hindering us from anything that we can use. We can develop the AI ecosystem in Hungary and in Europe. Simply, it is just shaping a little bit the environment while it is protecting the citizens, but that's all. Basically, we can do whatever we want to do. And based on the AI Act and this environment, the European Union is also supporting this, but I will come back to that point later. Technology is being developed in 2020. We didn't talk about generative AI. We didn't talk about general AI. So simply, these were not issues. We knew, of course, what is that, but it was still just some toy for the engineers and mathematicians. We were playing around with that. Today, these are all realities, and these are all having a major impact on our daily life. If you look at yourself, I'm always looking my 11 and 13-year-old children. Basically, what are they doing with the ChatGPT? They don't have to learn how to prompt. They know it. Well, whenever they need to reduce their workload somehow. So basically, these are the reasons that we started to redo the strategy. As many other countries are doing in Europe, it is just to show that how other countries are dealing with this topic. It's more or less the same. The AI Act shaped it in a way that what is important. Definitely, we are following this direction. Basically, where the 2020 strategy did not still have the topics like the ethical parts. This is one of the most complicated issues, the legal and the ethical part. Technical part is, I would say, we can solve almost anything. Public sector use, that we are not doing very well, although we intended to start with that, but now we are accelerating that. And international cooperations, international governance, these are also two topics what we consider. Where do we stay? What did we achieve? First of all, the Hungarian Artificial Intelligence Office is going to be established, or that function will be established. We are defining the role and also the members of the Hungarian Artificial Intelligence Council. We decided that there are stakeholders who should have their voice actually in a sort of organized form. So that's being established. We also established it's a company actually, Center for Regulatory and Ethical type of issues. As I said, with that we are still not at the beginning. There were two approaches. There were countries who said, okay, our legal structure is good enough to regulate anything which is coming. We don't have to have special regulations for artificial intelligence. Other countries like European Union, we wanted to do something different. Let's see what happens. We did a lot actually in 2020 as a result of the strategy there in the research and development and innovation processes, mostly run at universities and research institutes. We defined new structures, for example, the chain of the national laboratories. We tried to convince and force actually the Hungarian actors to cooperate with each other. Normally in Hungary we are not very cooperative, so we like to do everything alone. But we have only 10 million people here, so it's better if we sometimes cooperate. And actually they were good things, because especially those national laboratories like the Artificial Intelligence National Laboratory, Autonomous Vehicles National Laboratory, they could combine the different actors, and they are cooperating with each other. So that's why I will make a proposal actually to finance this also in the future. We started to build up the supercomputing capacity beginning of 2022. We joined to the Euro HPC program, and we also won the support of the European Union. What this process is going on now, 35% of a 20 petaflops supercomputer will be financed by the European government, by the European Union, and the rest by the Hungarian government. We just recently signed the hosting agreement, and we are going to start the specification, and roughly in 2 years we are going to have this computer. It's the normal time for that. We will not lose too much, because there are different constructions as what we can use in Europe in order to join to the European ecosystem in different way. What we missed, and I think that this was the biggest, I should not say failure, simply we didn't do what happens. We set a target 2020 saying that we need to start the data economy. Basically use the data as an asset and provide it to those who wants to make business out of that. So it didn't happen. What is the reason? Frankly speaking, we don't know. Yesterday we had a large meeting, different ministries, and we tried to understand why we cannot really run this data economy type of issue. The NAVU, that's the National Data Authority, their task is to organize the data together and sell it, give it to those who wants to have this data. It functions, legal background is there, still doesn't work. Most probably the data owner, the original data owner, they are having difficulties with this. So now we need to see how can we force this. But there is no reason why it should not work. So that was the only thing what was not so successful, what we decided in 2020. Education plays an important role. We also joined to the Euro, well, actually Sweden started this AI challenge. AI challenge means that they set the target as we did as well. The 1% of the Hungarian population is going to get a sort of a certification that they accomplished some artificial intelligence studies, and 10% of the Hungarian people will confront themselves with artificial intelligence. We did this actually. We generated a YouTube video. It was, well, pretty comprehensive in 2020, we talk about. Yeah, more than 4 million viewing we had. We hope that it means at least 1 million people. So that was okay. But again, it was 2020. Now we need to restart it. So that's the situation, and actually, as you have seen, this rating and the comparison with the other Central European countries, more or less they are also there. There are, of course, for the next steps, we have well, I would not call them as a danger, but definitely these are issues what we need to overcome. First issue is the level and the condition of the Hungarian startup ecosystem. So the complete story what we have now, we need to generate those applications which are based on artificial intelligence and give it to the people, use it. Don't be afraid of that, use it. Normally you would anticipate that this will happen mostly from the startup companies. Unfortunately, we are not as strong at that field as we should be, so that's why we need to accelerate that. Partnership, I already mentioned that we need to make coalitions. We need to work together with each other. A very good example, actually, the AI Coalition. We have over 500 companies, universities, and institutions who are participating there. So they are cooperating on the strategic level, but seemingly we need to also generate this kind of cooperation on the normal daily cooperation level. The entrepreneurial culture, this is one of the bottlenecks. Altogether, we have 900,000 companies in Hungary. 1% of them are the big companies. The rest are small and medium enterprises, and they have been practicing it since 30 years. I mean, they need to compete with the 300 years old German SMEs. It's a task. So they had 30 years for that. So now we need to find the solution that how to increase their abilities. In the previous talk, I've heard also about the supplier development, SME development. That's one of the biggest headache for the Hungarian government. How to do it? Now we see the opportunities with artificial intelligence that we can do it. We have a good partner, the Hungarian Industry and Commercial Chamber, who actually, well, feels responsibility for these companies, and we started to have programs. One of them was already announced, the second is going to come now. They provide a tool via the Chamber of Commerce and Industry to the small and medium enterprises to use AI, for example, as a legal advisor, as a business advisor. So these are being generated, and that's already there, so they will have an access to that. They could use it, and we are going to go further on. This is one of the biggest problem, and okay, lack of digital competencies, that's also something we need to take care of that. What is happening now, as I mentioned, 2020 we generated the strategy, 25 we renewed the strategy. We are not so brave as we were in 2020. Now we said, well, we are going to review the strategy every year because the complete AI is developing so quickly, and I do not have an illusion. We are at the very, very beginning of this whole story here. But the speed of the development is very high. So basically we are going to review the strategy every year, and if we need to modify, then we should modify. Important thing, and that's what actually the strategy starts to reflect. It's not only government, actually it was generated by the Hungarian AI Coalition, and we also added our parts to that. But basically the basic element of the strategy, let's start to use it. So don't wait for somebody always. We are always waiting for the big companies, for the government, for the EU, for the technology. No, please use it. It's the whole story of artificial intelligence is not new. I mean, I remember I wrote the first scientific article in 1993. It could be seen that how old am I, and about how to use artificial neural network for an onboard ad hoc modeling. So the technology is there, and it didn't change a lot since then. I mean, our mathematician friends, they started to give interesting names and whatever. But the basic technology is there. It's not a brain surgery. It's not complicated. Important thing is that we should not let, for example, a small medium enterprise to be confronted with how to train a network, what is the network, how to get the data, but give him already a usable solution. So that's what is going on, just to understand. With the Hungarian Statistical Office, we are making a structure for we are going to select some 40,000 companies. We have all the data in time series since 2008, and we are going to train a network based on those external data. Plus, we are going to add the business data, the environmental data, and we will ask questions of this model, and if you want to use the past data for some future prediction or what will happen if I'm going to make a new company now, then you can do it. And it's important that they will have an access to this model very quickly. It will happen actually, I would say within a month we can demonstrate it already, and we are going to go deeper. So that's the basic structure. Actually, I don't want to go into too much of the details because I would say that many of you got the current version of the strategy because I assume that you are also a member of the Hungarian, of the AI coalition. There are two major elements of the strategy. One of them is the foundation pillars. This is what the government needs to do mostly. Things like regulation, infrastructure, I already talked about shortly. Education plays a very important role. So I would say that if we talk about education, I would have a vision, and that's also in the strategy, that from the kindergarten up to when we start our pension, that we need to use the AI as a subject which is educated, and use the AI as a tool which helps with the education. So these are the most important things. We have all the tools for that, by the way. So it's we can generate virtually anything. We have all the tools that take a 60-year-old document like the Hungarian railway standards and try to teach them to somebody. It's a really good tool like what we did, and an avatar, not necessarily my avatar, but somebody's avatar can explain that. And that's it, and it works very well. So basically, and of course start the data economy operation. So these are the major elements. It's detailed. Actually, this presentation you can put to the website, but it's all in the strategy actually. What I would add, just one point to this, that the development of the applications, that's not only our problem, but that's also a problem at the European Union level. That's the reason that they also defined a new structure. It's a sort of subsidy structure, that the so-called AI factory. In the meantime, they have also AI gigafactories. The AI factory means that if you have supercomputing capacity, then you will get support for building a application ecosystem around this. We started to do it as well, even if the supercomputer will arrive later, but we are going to join to the Fraunhofer-Jülich data center. It's actually the largest one in Europe. We already submitted the application to the supercomputer together with them, and we will start building up this ecosystem. Huren, the Hungarian Research Network, is going to be the coordinator, but here we are anticipating all the stakeholders. So that will be started very soon. So that's important thing, because then we cooperate with the others. Education, actually that's the most important point on the 5th of June exactly, because that's actually the 125th birthday anniversary of Dénes Gábor. So he's one of the Hungarian Nobel Prize laureates. We are going to announce, or we are going to show the new education structure. It's more complicated. I mean, it's bigger and nicer than it was in 2020, but we are going to launch it. We are going to provide it to anybody who wants to use it. If Dialogungan wants to use that, we will be glad to give it away. Now we can generate it in 78 different languages, like you have seen it with my avatar, and then try to do it in a wider environment. Parallel to that, universities already made a proposal that what kind of new courses they will introduce. Complete bachelor courses, Bachelor of Science or Bachelor of Profession, also master courses will be established, and now we are working on that. How can we bring it to the normal school and also the secondary school level as well. Research and development, we need to accelerate that as well. Of course, wir müssen die Kirche im Dorf lassen. Wie sagt man das auf Englisch? Egal. So basically, we need to know our limits. Basically, that we can of course do many things on the mathematical part. That's the RAINY research infrastructure, but actually here the application is more important than the general purpose research with this. Although we need to make research in fields like the robot controlling and autonomous vehicles, we are very good at that. Bosch with Zalaegerszeg together, and I see that we are cooperating there as well. But nevertheless, application development, that's what very important is. Yeah, that's it. What I wanted to say. And the other component of the strategy is basically where do we want to use AI? We defined basically three elements. One is for the society, the other one is for technology, and for business. I think that I talked already about business applications. I think that's the key now, especially for SMEs, because I have no doubt that the big companies are using that. With István Sassi, we started to make a sort of promotion tour for the industrial AI. You will see the results. So you already made 2 visits to Bosch. We had a look what happens in the production, what happens in the engineering, and now we are going to see what happens in the validation, and we are going to publish it. So thank you very much, by the way, because normally such big companies are not doing something like this, not hiding information, but give it away. So that's important. So the business part will be running. Technology is again something what the companies are doing. Here again, the SMEs are quite important because in their production processes, or if they have in the engineering, we should help them that how to use AI more extended way. We have also solutions, by the way, for that. And the AI for society, I would show some examples because it is going to concern all of us. We started to deploy the AI governance. What does that mean? We have the AI local governance that we started in Miskolc because the Miskolc local government made a proposal because, well, actually, if you look at their name, ME, that's in Hungarian artificial intelligence, Miskolc. Zalaegerszeg has difficulties with that, but anyway, so they initiated a process that how to make a database governance for local government. So that's one initiative which is running. With the regional governance, we had already the definition that what we are going to do. That's kormányhivatal and those kind of things. They have many data and they have very good processes and they have a functioning organization, but it could be developed. And also on the government level, the data-based decision preparation, decision-making governance, we are working on that as well. We have a lucky situation because in Hungary we have, well, in a centralized form, a lot of data. So statistical office, the health data, the transportation data, energy. So these are all elements where we can use it. And in fact, we are using it also today. So I'm talking about future applications, but in fact, we are using it also today. So in the energy system, we make normally decisions based on those data, which are elaborated with artificial intelligence already. So this is what is going on here. I mean, technology is going on. I wasn't surprised so much, but before I got this new task now, well, the artificial intelligence was not an issue at all in Hungary. Now, every day we have 2 conferences. This one here and the other one is from Holland. So, and now all these solutions are popping up, and seemingly we are doing quite well with that. Yeah, I mentioned the center is always the SME, and how can we use this technology for the SMEs is really interesting technology. So I thought that we are, especially on a company level data usage, we are much further, but in fact not on a high level data. Yes, but if you want to implement a business advisor for the company management or the company owner, then still you need to work a lot. So the SMEs, they need to make their digital twin. So they need to transfer all their processes into a digital space. And on that level, you can already compare it with others, and you can also make applications. You can make the model. So that's what's going on as well. So I didn't speak more than 15 minutes. Okay. Okay, I try to do my best. Thank you very much.
So thank you so much, Laszlo. It is great, and this is a great Vorlage, we would say in German, for our next panel. And I would like to ask my guests to the panel. We need the chairs somewhere, otherwise we have to stand. Chairs are coming. Yeah, so, and I promise, so only our conversation stands now between the Imbiss and you, yeah? So, therefore, let's go. And we need some water here. Maybe we take Fadi, then the ladies, and then Peter. Make yourself comfortable sitting. Thank you. So, our topic is creating added value in advanced services. And what can be a better topic after this great presentation from Laszlo Palkovic about the AI, because that's the next level of the services. And yeah, why we had this topic today? Istvan, you mentioned early this morning that Hungary is very good in having investors in production, very famous in automotive sector and so on. But then, and therefore Fadi Shadeh is with us from the Hungarian Investment Promotion Agency, then there comes this service industry. And services are nowadays also, beside production, in the focus of the industrial development in Hungary. And of course, not only transactional service like bookkeeping, translation or whatever, but advanced services. And what does this mean? What are advanced services? And I'm also, beside Dialog Ungar, member of the Board of Trustees of the Miskolc University. And therefore, I'm pleased to hear, and the mayor of Miskolc announced that already on a conference what we had on Tuesday, that Miskolc will be a test platform for these AI services on the municipalities. And I think it is also very important that the universities produce the capabilities for this. And last November we had a conference, higher education as driver of services, of business service centers. And therefore, so I have now here, I start with Peter, a CEO who runs business service center here in Budapest. I have with me Judith Varga. Nowadays she stands as a representative of Tigra, a big Hungarian IT group. And we have here Eva Ötvös as a user of services, or no, you are offerer of services of DHL in Hungary, and we have Fadi as a representative of Hungarian Investment Promotion Agency. Fadi, I would like to start with you, normally with the ladies, but here we start with you because you can set the frame, why, what we understand under advanced services and why it is so important. And yeah, you are the master of this survey, this famous survey. Please tell us something about that.
Okay. Hello everyone, and thank you very much for the invitation. I'm really happy to see such a big crowd and that such a big number of people are interested in this event. So just getting back to the question, what are advanced services? I don't want to disappoint anyone, but I don't have an exact definition for that. Because if it's a contextual word, you have to compare different kind of services to see what is basic and what is advanced, and it is evolving day by day. So what is advanced today may be something basic 2-3 months from now. And this technological advancement is even making it more and more rapid, these kind of changes. Also, it is hard because we cannot compare a pear to an apple. We have services, different kind of services, where we have this scale of added value. So just speaking about business services in Hungary, it's really colorful. We have engineering, we have legal solutions, we have consultancy, we have IT, we have research and development, and many other activities. So it is hard to compare them and to create one definition. But I would say that there are something similar if we talk about how we can measure if something is advanced. And it's going back to the talent base. So I would say that if a position is done by a professional who is highly educated, highly skilled, highly experienced, and as a result relatively highly paid, then it is something which we can consider a high added value activity.
Thank you for this first introduction, and I can recommend only everyone to go to the website of HIPAA to see there the study what Fadi mentioned, and there is also a quite nice video, and we will put that as well together with the presentations Laszlo Palkovic mentioned and also Istvan Sasi mentioned. We will send it to all of the registered participants, and we'll put that on our website as well. So this video, we showed it together with Martina on Tuesday in Miskolc. It was really impressive. So, but let's come to one who do the advanced services. Judith, first of all, what you are currently doing in your new role, and what is TIGRA's portfolio? Please tell us about that.
Thank you very much, dear Marie-Thérèse, dear ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon to everyone. I am very delighted to represent here TIGRA. I am the International Business Development Manager as of last September. And this company is a beautiful group of old friends, because in its history of 30 years, we can see that the core colleagues, the core team is still the same as college university friends who established this company, which made itself to one of the front runners in the Hungarian GovTech IT sector. So this story started 30 years ago, and there was a vision of a reliable and a future-proof information technology. And the motto is that we are building digital excellence, but it's also very important that together, because TIGRA is a group of companies with 600 plus employees, with 300 trusted partners around the world, and thanks to its very wide-ranged portfolio, we are servicing every day more than 3 million people from the heart of Central Europe. You may not notice if on an average day someone sells real estate or uses public procurement or God save us from this, but calls an ambulance car. They are systems which were designed, drafted, built, and maintained by TIGRA colleagues. It also empowers us with the skills of being able to perform under huge daily pressure. So if ambulances and the national rescue system is quite a huge responsibility for IT workers. But coming back to the services, what TIGRA provides for its customers, not only in the GovTech but also in the private sector, this is the full scale and full range of IT services available, state-of-the-art today, which is consulting advisory, which is data and system integration, IT security, which is the fastest growing domain today in the IT, and also the AI-driven managed services. Here we also have a home designed AI-managed system, which actually helped us to save a lot of human working hour per day with the internal processes of the TIGRA, and this is a product which we are also selling. And to sum it up, I would say that TIGRA is like the utility, or our motto is, while clients can focus on their daily core business, this kind of IT should be invisible. It's like electricity coming from the wall. And this is what we would like to provide for our clients. And just one little note about Germany. Tigra has a big part of its story in Germany. Many of our leading senior engineers, they were trained there under German client requirements, which gave us a very high value added when we came home and we started to be active in the Hungarian market. And now our aim is to get back to Germany, be it German investors being active in the country or abroad. And this is why we have also a filial. We have a Tochter GmbH in Munich, which is Tigra GmbH. So, and we have a stand just in front of the entrance. So please do approach to us and we can provide you with more information. Thank you for this.
Exactly. And we visited with our delegation yesterday afternoon Tigra. And what impressed me most is your colleague who said, we make impossible things happen. Yeah.
We do the undoable.
Yeah, we do the undoable. So, and we are used to work under pressure. And this is in IT sometimes really a crucial success factor. Yeah, Peter, you are a daughter company of one famous German family-based business, Kostal Group. It's near my home. It's based in Lüdenscheid. But they have decided to allocate the Worldwide Business Center to Budapest. Maybe you tell a little bit why they did this decision and which services your unit offers. You offer it in your group, but worldwide. And do you consider it as advanced services or what kind of services?
Lots of questions. So first of all, thank you, Marie and team, for having me. It's an honor and privilege. I think
also University Miskolc brought us together.
Yes,
Josef Böhm
that's
is an alumni.
a long story,
yeah.
But University of Miskolc played a significant role in that. So first things first, I think you're flattening Kostal Group by telling it's a well-known company. Yeah. Nobody knows Kostal. And that's the reality because we are not branded. We have very few branded products, but if you drive any car in the world, there is a very, very high chance that you touch some Kostal product. If you don't, probably you open the hood, you have something made by Kostal under it. So we are an automotive supplier with a very proud heritage, 113 years. It's a classical German Mittelstand. I learned the word when I joined because it's not really very well established segment in Hungary. And companies like Tigra, who are not too big, not too small, but significant players and give the backbone of the German economy, for me it was a learning journey, how many of them and how important they are in the economy. And I think that's also setting an example for Hungary. And in Kostal, the focus is automotive, but there are also other areas because the company is very strategically diversifying the portfolio. So we have solar, we have chargers, something related to the technology that we do, but a little bit with a twist or with a different market. Recently we acquired a company called Compleo and Valence, which are doing chargers and software for intelligent charging, vehicle to grid, and all these kind of advanced things. But probably you didn't come here to listen stories about Kostal. Going back to the services, you asked many questions. One of them was, if I remember, why? All companies who want to establish business services, they go to a consultant. The consultant tells them asks them the same questions, gives them a very similar list, and they go on a roadshow and try to decide. And to be very honest, in Central Eastern Europe, the price is similar. The language skills is similar. It's not dramatically different, not like 10 times better or worse. And what makes very often the difference is how did people feel, whom they met, what was their impression there. Because guess what? Some people who are sitting on that committee, they need to tell to their spouse that, oh, by the way, we are moving to a place that you probably don't even know. And it helps if it's a place they know. It helps if it's a nice country where there are schools, where there are languages, where there is culture, where it's not just cheap. So in this respect, I think Hungary is positioned well, but at the end of the day, these decisions are very often made on the personal impressions. Maybe I share a little secret that we work with HIPAA. In my previous head, I was heading the business service for Lexmark, an American printer maker, for many years, and we've been cooperating with HIPAA very happily. We get subsidy, but that subsidy went away. It was done, and we still kept the cooperation, trying to help attracting new investors. And one of the best tools in doing that is the reference visit, because the agencies can tell whatever they want. But if you visit a company and ask them, are you happy? It's very difficult to lie in the eyes of somebody. So it's very genuine. And we met with Costa on such a reference visit, and I found it a very ironic twist of fate that somehow I ended up there. I didn't see that one coming. But maybe on the services, and I think that concludes your question, we do everything. And for those of you who don't know business service centers, you stole the show literally when you said that we do things for you so you can focus on your main activity, and we are like the electricity in the socket. Nobody cares about it if there is electricity, and it's a huge drama if there is no electricity. So we do very similarly, maybe independently we arrived at a similar sales pitch, like we are service backbone of the company. So the company can service on the core business, and we do the back office. That's maybe in a nutshell what business services is doing. And the classical services, like what everybody is doing, is IT, HR, finance, procurement, this kind of back office. And I think this question, what is high value added and not, is very tricky. I don't think there is a good answer. I like Fadi, your definition. My definition is that if it's everybody else doing it, it's not high value add. If it's relatively unique, it has probably a good chance that it's high value add. I'll give you a couple of examples. The very first week when we started the service center, there was nothing. There was not even an office. We worked in a basement. My boss asked me, Peter, I need to hire a sustainability director. I said, wow, good for you. And it's very expensive. I said, well, that's your problem. You are the CFO. And, but do you think we can do it in Hungary? I said, for sure we can do it. But Peter, doesn't it look strange that we have a very high-ranking official should report to the government, to the board of the company, like reporting to you? I said, I don't care who reports to whom. I just can get you a guy like this if you need it. And we made interviews. We had 3 wonderful candidates, one better than the other. I'm very happy that we ended up with Josef, who happened to be Marie's friend and from the University of Miskolc, but we could fix that problem. That was a really big issue for the company, that very environmentally committed company as Coastal is, but nobody like expert who can communicate it, organize, shape the strategy. We could get a person like this. We have the group controller of the whole Coastal group sitting in Budapest. We have the compensation and benefits director, which is super sensitive. Everybody keeps it in their headquarters because it's salaries, including executive salaries. This is very sensitive. We got the trust to get it in Hungary because we have a good market, we have good specialists, other companies' headquarters where we could hire somebody. So that's for me high value add. I don't know where you draw the line, but those are for sure over that line.
I'm totally sure these are high value services. And it's a good example that these are done with Hungarian people, and they act worldwide. So that's also a chance for Hungarian young, well-educated people, and it's an argument, yeah, because I know the Hungarian people are really skilled, but they love their country. They want to stay there. They don't want to go abroad maybe for a year or half a year, but finally they want to stay. So therefore this is really a great chance, a company services your company are offering here.
Well, good afternoon everybody, and thank you very much for the invitation. It's a great pleasure to be here. And I think if we pause for a second and if we can just conclude that for the purposes of this session, all roads lead to Miskolc and Miskolc University. I think that's probably a good conclusion. So, DHL Express, yes, many of you will probably have worked with us or with one of our sister units. We are part of the DHL group. DHL Express has been committed to Hungary since 1988 when we first entered the Hungarian market. Since then, we've been securing the livelihoods of 400 colleagues, and we've been working with thousands and thousands of clients, customers who form the backbone of the Hungarian economy in important sectors such as automotive, such as engineering, such as healthcare and life sciences or technology. So what it is that we do we classify as advanced services? And I'm so glad that there is no specific definition for this. It's on the face of it, maybe it sounds quite simple. We get your products, your spare parts, whatever you might need, an important document from A to B within Europe in 24 hours, from where it needs to go to where it needs to go. And you can rest assured, similarly to the themes mentioned before, that you can focus on your core activities, because we are the logistics experts and we will take care of your logistics needs. So I would argue that already our core products, which is something we call TDI, Time Definite International, is already quite advanced. You know, we know how to do it, we know very well to do it. We also have the integrated scheduled express network so that we are able to do it. And we also have a number of additional very specific services available to our customers so that if there is a very unique need that you need to have service, we are well placed. So if I give you an example, Time Definite International, core business for us, we do it day in, day out, plane arrives within an hour, all your shipments are on their way, by 9 o'clock, by 12 o'clock you get what you need, and your assembly line can continue to operate. But should there be an urgent delivery need, should you face that one of the things that you scheduled into your production and the parts never arrived, they are delayed at one of the ports, then you call us, we go and come to rescue to you, and we can make sure that your assembly line can continue to operate. We make sure that we avoid, with our express scheduled network, any potential negative impacts for you as a company so that you can fulfill your contractual obligations towards your customers. And just fairly recently, we had such an example from an automotive company. It involved Székesfehérvár, and we managed to, I think, for them a miracle when they saw the good outcome and the good result. But maybe if I can just pause for a second on SMEs and the work we do with SMEs as well. It's a hugely important priority for DHL Express as a whole. Here in Hungary, we have a number of good news stories to tell through our work, our mentorship programs, through our Power Up Your Potential programs. And what we do is actually we do jointly a collaborative effort, completely free of charge, helping Hungarian SMEs become even more successful in international markets, in export markets. So maybe I pause there. Thank you, Marie.
Thanks a lot. Fadi, what do you think are key drivers in Hungary for advanced services? So for the development, what is needed?
Yeah, so first, what we have already been talking about, that the most important element of advanced services is the people who are working within these companies. So they have to be highly educated, which we really have here in Hungary. And the second is that they should be in a good cost-to-value ratio. And being EU members, we have the same opportunities in terms of doing business in Hungary, but at the same time, our salary levels are quite lower than in Western Europe. That gives us a stable job environment. Also, we have different governmental aspects. So, and I can link it to the thought and the change towards investment promotion on the governmental side. So if we look at the unemployment rate and its shift from the 2010s, then we can see the shift in logic. In 2010, the unemployment rate was roughly 11%, which was a huge issue. So how can we tackle this problem is by mass job creation. How can we create mass jobs? It's not by inviting many service centers, but rather focusing on industrialization. And if we look at the eastern part of the country, Debrecen, Miskolc, and that area, we can see that the last couple of years, last 2 decades, was really successful in terms of industrialization. And the unemployment rate shrinked to roughly, it's bouncing roughly between 4.5% and 5%. So obviously the aim of the government and the aim of the investment promotion changed. And the aim is now shifts from made in Hungary to invented in Hungary, which means that we are more and more focusing on higher value added investments, on research and development activities, on business service centers, and we tailor-made our incentive packages according to this. So we have research and development incentives, we have training incentives, and also we have a VIP cash grant, but it's more like for rural development, because our aim is also to develop, in terms of services, these rural university centers, just like, for example, we mentioned Miskolc several times, but we have some other cities as well, like Pécs, Szeged, Debrecen, who are also a really good alternative. And our aim is to strengthen these service centers there as well.
Yeah, and in your survey, all these cities, what you mentioned, and all the regions are also mentioned, and data are available for these regions.
Yeah, of course. So as Mario already mentioned, we conduct a survey every year. We publish it during our conference in November. And these are based on contributions on a survey of local business service centers in Hungary. Just to give you a few numbers from there, like, for example, 81% of the companies are planning to bring in more value-added positions. So it means that even companies understand that if they want to keep relevant within the corporate group, they have to upgrade their service portfolio. And also they provide their services, 53% of them provide their services on a global scale, which means that they are not only relevant in a country or regional level, but they are really significant players in the global scope of their corporate entities.
And in your survey is 44% of the leaders in this sector are female leaders.
Yes, of course.
Also something what you have evaluated. Yeah. So Judith, what do you say to a customer what they benefit when you serve them? What are the benefits for your customer?
Let me answer your question, answering your question to Fadi, because the key drivers in our objectives are client feedback and the reality itself, which is actually our experience. And here let me give you 3 messages taken, what we think it's important to remember about Tigra, that we are in a very close contact with our clients, and we build on their feedback. We just recently made a survey among almost 60 IT managers of SMEs and also large companies in Hungary. And based on the answers to our questionnaire, we deducted our let's say, lessons taken, lessons learned. And they all see that the 21st century IT team of a company is a strategic partner of the management. It's not an outsourced something or those guys who are sitting behind their computers. They should be part of the strategic decisions of the management. And this was coming from our clients. And this is how also we think about our consulting advisory activity, because we provide end-to-end solutions. It means we help the client to formulate the problem or the challenge. And then our engineers can pose the correct questions. And maybe at the end of this conversation, the problem is not a problem or not that kind of problem. So this is very important to be organically with the client, to work with them on a daily basis to define the challenges. And then we can provide this end-to-end solution. And this actually came from the clientele feedback that they include the IT team into their strategic decisions. And 2 other messages which I would like to talk about today, that as I said, Tigra performs well under huge pressure, because IT itself, it's quite a quite a stressful activity. If we look at nowadays challenges, and I'm coming from politics, so I know how to formulate my message, we are living in the time of danger. So COVID, energy crisis, blackouts, all the nightmares of the management of a company might just hit from 1 hour to another. And for example, we are working with the statistics that up to 4 hours, all problems are solved. This is amazing in IT sector, because from the concrete 100% blackout, we can fix you in 4 hours. The most complex systems as well. So we have packages where we help management to feel secure against those crisis situations. This is the crisis management, and we see crisis as a chance to advise clients how they can actually renew the IT systems and technologies. And here comes, which flows actually from this second message, my last and third message, that we have a lot of, we evolve the portfolio in the so-called legacy services, because I think it's an everyday challenge, especially for smaller or medium-sized companies, that they already have something. Everybody has some kind of IT infrastructure, and this ever-changing world frustrates managements. Oh, shall I develop this or that, or what shall I buy, because I see the world is running around me. And we help the client, first of all, in a cost-effective way, to try to exploit the already existing potential of the existing, let's say, old, but maybe it's not too old infrastructure, so we help them to refurbish, to modernize, not necessarily buying a new one. And here again comes our driver. This is the experience which we collected during our GovTech activity. You can imagine the Hungarian administration or bureaucracy 20 years ago. I myself, I worked in courts. I knew that still in 2000, we were writing by hands on yellow papers. I gave it to the clerk, and the clerk put this into the computer's template. Now, Hungary is completely different. But in order to make this change technologically, required a whole mindset change. And Tigra's engineers who programmed the GovTech systems, like the new electronic, let's say, personal status documentation of Hungary, they actually were bumped into the bureaucrats who wanted to preserve their own methods, because people don't like to change. And, but we also have to adapt the old technology to the new systems. And this is where we gained full range of experiences, how to manage legacy situations, which now it's a very good product, which can be converted into the business world from the GovTech. So these were our drivers.
Thanks a lot. Now, everywhere it was mentioned that people are key. So they are, everything depends on them. Therefore, in my last round, I would like to ask Peter also, do you find enough people, and what you recommend to companies as an employer? Because I saw that you are quite successful in that. So what you recommend that they find the people, the right one?
Not to skip over the elephant in the room, finding the people. Anybody who tells you it's easy to find the people, they are probably lying. That's just not true. That's the bad news. The good news, there's the same problem everywhere else. It's not unique to Hungary. Yeah, I travel all around the world. I see the same challenge. Even in Germany, we face this challenge that it's increasingly difficult to find the right talent. It's not difficult to find people. It's difficult to find the right people and the right talent. And my experience with it is there is no one way to skin a cat. What I saw many times that there is a successful strategy and people start copying it, and then it doesn't work. Why it doesn't work? Because it's not authentic. I think if there is one common theme that I see it kind of works is authenticity. Be who you are. Own it and accept yourself as you are with all deficiencies and advantages, and don't sell something that's not true. Let me give you an example. Mariana, one of the previous meetings we had somewhere, sometimes in the world, you mentioned that Coastal is really good at the sustainability, and this is a strong selling point, especially to the younger generation who want to have a purpose, want to have a meaning. And I wholeheartedly agree with it, but you recommended to me that, oh, why don't you recommend to the other guys do it? I said, well, it depends. If you are sustainable, this is a very good selling point. If you are not, it's ridiculous. If you are never been caring about the environment, it's fine, but then don't say you do. The CEO going painting a fence in the kindergarten, taking a picture, how sustainable and CSR we are, and then riding a bicycle in front of the camera and then sitting in the Hummer and going home and nobody sees, that doesn't work. The people are not stupid. They have access to the information instantly. They can Google it, they can look at the Glassdoor, you cannot really lie. So being genuine what you are and owning it. We happen to be very lucky. We are a cute, family-owned company point, but not being who we are doesn't help. I don't know, Andres, am I allowed to share? Okay, he says it's okay. So Mr. Brown, we had dinner yesterday evening. We just met and we were discussing, they are considering, they are doing elevators for disabled people, and they noticed that in Hungary, unfortunately, it's not great, the infrastructure. First of all, it's an opportunity, and that's what they're exploring. And second, maybe Hungary is good for investment. I think they are hesitating in that regard. So Fadi, you and team have more work to do there. But that's not really the point. The point here, we were discussing about how do you get people. And my message was that you happen to have a product that's a very good thing. Anybody who works for your company ever in the future, they can go and tell their mother and their friends that I'm working for a company that makes a product that makes people's life better. This is a good selling point, not copying somebody else's slogan, but using your own strengths. Everybody is happy with that. Some people are saying, oh, I want to have something cuddly and nice and those weapons. It's okay. Don't hire the people who are objected. It's fine. We respect that. But then the message should be, we help to protect Europe. Or whatever it is. I don't mean to pick on any industry particular, but my advice, small or big company, know your strengths, know your unique selling point. I think that was mentioned on the keynote presentation. Know your USP not only to your customers, but also to your people, and sell it. Don't invent new things.
That's really good what values they have. And this should take into consideration. Maybe this is a topic of another discussion, but I find it very... Barbara, do you have same experience?
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Marie. So, with regards to DHL, of course, we have the huge advantage of being an international company. What that means in practice, our colleagues have the opportunity to grow in their careers over a long span of time. They have the opportunity to grow their careers through the various divisions as well. They have the option of moving to one country to the next to bring home their experiences and talents. So that's just a generic statement. To be more precise, when it comes to the Hungarian labor market, or as a matter of fact, I have a regional role, and pretty much everywhere else in Central and Eastern Europe, workforce, recruitment, retention, trying to find the best people, is a topic, is a hot topic. And because of that, all of the companies, DHL Express included, we need to take care, we need to look after our employees. A really good example, 2 years ago, when DHL Express Hungary became a family-friendly company, and that recognition meant a lot to our employees as well, because it's one thing for you to know that you are a good company, you're okay. If you're a father, you decide that you also want to take some parental leave, your newborn child needs his father as well, then that's okay. Just last year, we received the prestigious Trusted Employer Award from the German Chamber, if I remember correctly, as a you giving birth.
I'm familiar with this award because in my times as vice president we incorporated something like that.
Indeed, indeed. Again, in the grand scheme of things in Hungary, we often tend to run and compete for the same workforce. if you have something more substantial, something very concrete that you can offer to your future colleagues or to your existing colleagues, then you stand a better chance. And maybe lastly, because at the end of the day, I'm here to talk about DHL Express successes, you brought up sustainability and how it needs to be authentic. And of course, I would like to think we are authentic when we talk about sustainability, and sustainability and logistics can be a hot topic in itself, right? But just earlier this year, we received from Budapest Airport for all of our 2024 efforts, the Green Airport Partner Sustainability Award. And that goes back to our employees. So we are not just doing the right thing, we are proud of it, and somebody external recognizes it. And that just fills our employees with pride. This is the reason why they stay with us. This is the reason wherever I travel, I meet with colleagues who've been with DHL for 10, 20, often 30 years. And for the company, you know, those colleagues of ours give the strength to the company, and by extension, that means that for you as a customer, we're able to deliver the best-in-class service.
Judith, I suppose you can add a lot to that, because we could experience yesterday the atmosphere in your company and could participate in a monthly or event for your employees where you have a kind of after work. So what is Tigra doing? What is Tigra doing for the employees? Do you have special initiatives for that, or please?
Well, thank you very much. I couldn't agree more with all what was said by Barbara, and I think we would need another conference to talk about Tigra's family-friendly measures. But really, the atmosphere is human-centered, and whether you are a single mother or whether you are somebody close to pension, you are all feel like being in a family. And this is also thanks to the leader, György Vertán, who is the founding CEO and the single owner since 30 years with the same tax number and bank account. I think it's a very important feature of also the company in this changing world. And so besides this family-friendly award, what we actually gain on many occasions, also approved by certificates, we have a multi-layered, structured Nachwuchs program, how to guarantee the employees, the future employees of the company. And I would come back to the survey which we made among our clients, IT managers, IT department leaders of big and small companies. They all said the challenge is not only whether we have enough employees in IT or not, whether we have enough business-oriented young talents who can think with the same mindset what I just said, that they should feel responsible for the business success of their clients also. So they are not someone isolated in its room and programming something, but they need to think about programming and engineering in a business added value way. And this is not easy to find, these future talents, juniors, and this is why our multi-layered program is based or is standing on different pillars. One is a yearly program of providing employment for 12 talented students from the Schönherz School Association. And according to our statistics, 80% of those employees, they remain with the company for a longer time. And then we have special grants, specially focused on Vojvodina, which is in Serbia, and also in Felvidek in Slovakia. There are financial grants and also employment opportunities. We also it was not by accident that we placed our branches in the country close to the most important and successful IT faculties in the country. So besides having cooperation agreements with ELTE IT faculty and the Budapest Műszaki Egyetem, which of course it's a must and it's obvious, and we have very, very good employment relationship with them. So the Nachwuchs comes from them as well. Also Budai Egyetem, but also in Szeged and Debrecen. So we, like I think many other, like Bosch also talked about this, they are close to the universities, and already during university years they engage young talents. And I could also quote other programs, but just to sum it up, again, the mindset is the challenge, but also the possibility whether we find enough new colleagues, employees who can think the same way how we think. And unfortunately, this is also my experience from my university years. And this is also maybe a Hungarian, let's say, challenge which we should overcome, maybe with the help of German practical thinking companies, that we have a very high level of theoretical education at universities, but when the juniors, they are coming out of the university, they start from scratch, or they look like starting from scratch. As a young lawyer, my first company registration form was actually filled in when I started to work for Freshfields. And it was just a very simple administrative exercise, but no one showed it to me at the university, unfortunately. So we have to improve this. And with Tigra, we have a living example, a very good use case that it can work, because just to sum or just to close my intervention with what I began, the survey also said, so the IT manager said that we fill this gap. So recruiting, hiring has this challenge that we need the practical thinking, we need tangible experience for those fishermen who are coming out of the university. And Tigra can help here.
Great. So my first question was to you, Fadi, and my last is also to you. How do you see the trends in the next maybe 5 to 10 years? And how can, I mean, in advanced services, and how can Hungary become a front runner in this in Europe, in the European Union? You can go hand in hand with Laszlo for the AI. Yeah. So what you see as the Hungarian Investment Promotion Agency?
Yeah, I will try to be brief. So I think the talent-centric logic will not change, but it will transform. So in terms of introducing AI technologies, it can ease a little bit the pressure of the workforce, which we already talked about, and it will eliminate some of the entry-level positions, more transactional positions, and it will create more space to upskill all the existing employees. And many companies already stepped on this way. So just referring to our study, 51% of business service centers in Hungary already implemented some kind of AI technologies. 38% are in the way, so they are working on something. And I think the rest will also do at least some kind of automation because the market is leading in that direction. So I think talent will be really important. Upskilling the talent will be really important, not only to keep relevant, but also to retain them within the company. So to keep upskilling them, and which we already touched a little bit, company-university cooperations will be more and more important. And they are, I think, getting more and more frequently used since there was a change within the system of universities. They became not governmental backed, but association backed, which gives them much more flexibility to cooperate with companies, and they are really happy. So for example, we take companies many times to universities, and for example, the University of Debrecen, IT faculty, they have implemented or incorporated external curriculums to their curricula as well, for a simple reason that when students graduate from there, they already have certificates which they can use in their everyday jobs, but also companies can update their curricula much easier than universities because they have a longer procedure for that. So I think we will see much more university-company cooperations and universities incorporating external courses to their curricula.
Yeah, thank you for that. It's Wasser auf meinen Mühlen, water on me. Yeah, music to my ears. Thank you. Yeah, and we will try to follow that way with the University of Miskolc, of course. So thank you to all of you for this valuable conversation, and I'm totally sure with each of you we will continue that. Clear. And thank you also to the audience that you had the patience to stay And now we invite you to an imbiss and a snack, and I would like to say thank you to all of those who stayed also online with us. We will, as I mentioned before, try to forward all the information what you have heard here. Dialog Ungarn is also a platform for information sharing. And Arne, may I do some advertisement for our next meeting? Yeah. Dialog Ungarn will do it together with Deutsche Wirtschaftsclub on the 20th of May. The next one will come on the 20th of May. We will have a discussion, women careers in Hungarian business. So Judith will be again with us, and Andrea will be again with us. You will hear a little bit more about our personal experience, and we will do it vice versa. Arne will interview us. I will be also on the panel, so looking... Yes, no, I invite all of you, so women and men, please, because we would like to share our experience. We can only make step forwards together. So then, now the new chart. Of course, we will continue this tradition of a German-Hungarian Business Day. Today it was the 4th time. Arne, we never expected to come once a day to the 4th, but here we are, yeah. And we will have as well a 5th one next year. Please note already, 23rd of April 2026. Next year Easter is a little bit earlier. It's already on the 5th of April, so therefore we can have it earlier. And we are looking forward to have you all as guests as well. And István Jó agreed this morning to us that he will be doing it again with us together. So, Fadi, something to develop. Work will not start, will not end. Martina has gone, but we will continue our cooperation. So, and thank you now. You at Vajot.